other agencies, and I'm told there are 9 agencies that are present at any passport application center. So invariably, what happens is that the ministry staff are made up of the OIC, vetting officers in some cases, and also those in the printing rooms. But this is augmented by officers from all your agencies. I have written to all agencies that any officer who has been here for more than 1 year, which is what it should be replaced. This is because we all know the saying that familiarity breeds contempt. We all know what's happening. There have been various reports in the media, on social media, in the mainstream media, of people's experiences, even as we stood here waiting for you to gather. The kind of comments that came from the members of the public who are here as Ghanaians to apply for passports. They are not here because they want to be here. They are here because they need passports to travel, to renew their passports. Why should they be treated in a way that is not what is expected of people who are giving a service? You are not doing them a favor. In fact, their passport fees and the taxes of Ghanaians pay you all respectfully. So when they come to you, treat them well. This cannot continue. I always say that there's too much happening that really shouldn't be happening within the passport acquisition system. If we talk about Goro people, these Goro people are outsiders. They do not work on their own, because if the Goro person collects somebody's money, they need to work with somebody from inside to change the dates. They work with people from inside. I'm not saying all of you, but there are some of you who are engaged in it. And this should stop. The blame is always on the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Meanwhile, it's the agencies, and I'm sure even some of our staff are involved. Public servants who are supposed to be giving public service to Ghanaians. The Vice President has led the digitalization effort with my support and all of my officers to put in place an online system. Now the online system is being manipulated so that people can make money off it. There's an investigation going on, and some names have been mentioned. And there are people from outside, a cartel, who are working with people from inside. Anybody who has been here for more than a year, from Monday, please do not come back, because you've been changed. We want to bring some sanity. Every time politicians are corrupt. Meanwhile, it's some public civil servants who will do things that shouldn't be done, and then they put it on politicians. We come, we do the right thing. I'm trying to bring sanity into the passport system, but no. I'm praying for that day when national identification will be issued to every single Ghanaian. And that day is coming. I'm told that they've issued to over 50 million already, and it's still counting. Then no other agency will be allowed into a passport office, because there'll be no need. Because when the person comes and they key in their name and their national ID number, all their details will come up, and therefore there'll be no need to have any other agency. maybe apart from the printing room people, nobody will be necessary anymore. So I beg you, do this work from your heart and stop making money off people. Number one. Number two, treat the people who come here, the kind of comments that I've heard, it's not the best. Treat them well. They come here for today, you won't see them again, because apart from coming for the passport, they don't come here again. So I thank you. I needed to have this eyeball-to-eyeball conversation, not come to your offices. I needed to do this because it's becoming very serious. And many of you are under investigation and you are not aware. 9 various agencies. Please mention the agencies for me.
We have
Research
Department of Immigration, National Security Council, Controller and Accountant General's Department, Births and Death Registry, Ghana Immigration Service, Fire Service, the Police, the Armed Forces, and National Security. I mentioned that already. Yes, Bureau of National Investigations.
NIB. Yes. I have removed all my officers. And now it's up to the other agencies, and I'm going to ensure so that by Monday, if you have been here for more than a year, you will not be allowed in. Some agencies have already started their process, and I hope that the others will also continue. Thank you very much. Deputy, is there anything you want to add? I'm sure you will realize that this is not the normal way. First of all, let me say that this is not the first time I've come to the passport office. I've done an unannounced tour of the 2 passport application centers. But for me, this particular visit has become necessary because of some reports that I have. Reports that officers, and there are 9 or so agencies represented in any passport application center, that these people represented from the various agencies, and I will not say that my own officers are not part of it, but these people are involved in illegal activities. And when I say illegal activities, we all know, just 2 days ago, the report in the Daily Guide that the issue of Goro people involved in our passport acquisition process has become rife.
The authority, having considered the memorandum presented by the President of the ECOWAS Commission on the current situation in the Republic of Niger, as well as ECOWAS engagement since the last extraordinary summit, and having considered the reports of the envoys of the chair to Niger and various other places, carefully considered the report and recommendations of the ECOWAS Committee of Chiefs of Defense Staff, extensively discussed the latest development in Niger since the last extraordinary summit held on 30th July 2023, noted that all diplomatic efforts made by ECOWAS in resolving the crisis have been defiantly repelled by the military leadership of the Republic of Niger, taking note of the expiration of the 1-week ultimatum given for the restoration of constitutional order in the Republic of Niger, decide as follows. A, reiterates its strong condemnation of the attempted coup d'etat and the continued illegal detention of President Mohamed Bazoum, his family, and members of his government. B, further condemns the condition in which President Bazoum is being detained and hold the CNSP fully and solely responsible for the safety, security, and physical integrity of President Bazoum, members of his family, and government. C, uphold all measures and principles agreed upon by the extraordinary summit held on Niger on 30th July 2023 underscored the determination of the ECOWAS authority to keep all options on the table for the peaceful resolution of the crisis. Enforce all measures, in particular border closures and strict travel bans and assets freeze, on all persons or groups of individuals whose actions hinder all peaceful efforts aimed at ensuring the smooth and complete restoration of constitutional order. Warn member states who, by their action directly or indirectly, hindered the peaceful resolution of the crisis in Niger about the consequences for their action before the community. Call on the African Union to endorse all the decisions taken by the ECOWAS authority on the situation in Niger. Further call on all partner countries and institutions, including the United Nations, to support ECOWAS in its effort to ensure a quick restoration of constitutional order in conformity with its normative instruments.
Why is it that the richest continent on earth, the go-to place for the world, is painted as the poorest? And I am not going to mince my words. The truth of the matter is the world needs Africa. Africa does not need the world. We have everything we need on earth. We could paralyze the world economies. Take a simple thing. Like we decide DRC can no longer export its coltan. That alone can paralyze the world. So rather than us Africans concentrating on the issues that matter, concentrating on issues that we need to take home, like telling France that 500 billion you're taking out of Africa every year, no more. France needs to be the third world developing country, not Africa.
The Bank of Ghana committing to that project?
I don't have the figure offhand, sir.
The figure for your headquarters?
I don't have the figure off my head, sir. That's what I'm saying.
$250 million. Are you committing $250 million to that project?
I don't have the full complement of the figures at this moment.
Mr. Randolph, you are the Director of Finance of the Bank of Ghana. This is a major project that will shake the balance book of every organization. You should have that figure of head. How much are you committing to your head office building? We know it is $250 million. Can you confirm that? The Bank of Ghana committing to that project?
I don't have the figure offhand, sir.
The figure for your headquarters?
I don't have the figure off my head, sir. That's what I'm saying.
$250 million. Are you committing $250 million to that project?
I don't have the full complement of the figures at this moment.
Mr. Randolph, you are the Director of Finance of the Bank of Ghana. This is a major project that will shake the balance book of every organization. You should have that figure of head. How much are you committing to your head office building? We know it is $250 million. Can you confirm that?
Saddens me, Mr. Speaker. It hurts me, Mr. Speaker. I am in pain, Mr. Speaker. I am in a state of melancholy, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we can't continue like this. Saddens me, Mr.
Chinua Achebe, that great writer from Nigeria who wrote as his magnum opus, his greatest book was Things Fall Apart, but people have not read his Ant Hills of the Savannah. in which Chinua says he does not know from what inexhaustible wells of patience the poor man in Africa draws. He is constantly abused by politicians and he or she does not react. He goes to a public rally and he is sitting under the hot sun, he or she is sitting under the hot sun, but the so-called leaders are sitting in air-conditioned places watching from afar, and then they harass them on the roads with their never-ending motorcades. And after they have finished, then they have a choice of the best food in the world, and we do not get angry. Africans must get angry.
I've said it, and I'll repeat it again. Those who are coming to this administration thinking that it's an avenue for making a lot of money are going to be disappointed. They better go to the private sector. That is where people make money, not in government.
Thievery, looting, recklessness, incompetence, and a weak leader.
What should be the focus of this
has demonstrated that he is the weakest leader in the history of this country. He cannot even take action against his appointees. He cannot. And what is more painful is that he used talk to hoodwink Ghanaians into believing that he could act. But you see, Peter Abrahams, the learned writer in South Africa, wrote a book, Mind Boy. In Mind Boy, he described the character, Johannes. And he said Johannes had two different characters. Johannes drunk and Johannes sober were two different persons. Akufo-Addo, before he became president, and Akufo-Addo, after he became president, are two different persons, completely different persons. As a free private man, he inspired confidence in Ghanaians, hope and trust. As a president, he's betrayed all these values.
So what should be the focus of an investigation into a case like this?
The focus is simple.
The source of the money?
FATF rules, Financial Action Task Force rules, demand that where such resources are found with a public officer or a private person, and that's why the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act extends to private persons. That person has a responsibility to show where that money comes from. The source.
A portion of the World Bank's $570 million economic pump for Ghana was to enable Accra become the cleanest city in Africa. Specifically, $200 million was to finance the Greater Accra Integrated Development Initiative. This initiative is a transformative urban project tailored to bolster the city to become safer, more resilient, and cleaner. What is the status of this project?
Mr. Chairman, the component for my ministry is $43 million, and I think I spoke about it earlier. That is to take care of the Odo Basin, to clean it up, and to cap the heaps of waste that we see around the basin. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You claim that your ministry had $43 million out of the $200 million. How was that $43 million applied?
Mr. Chairman, I have given the components out is to cap about 5 heaps around Tantan and then the Odo Basin. And it's also to clean up the Odo Basin to make the channels open for water to flow in. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Nana Akufo-Addo has made it very clear that his government is going to build a globally competitive economy. We have not really been thinking global, and this is what we need to do, that we have to understand that we are in competition with other countries, and investment moves from country to country, so we have to think global. And so, the Nana Akufo-Addo policy, which he stated, is just basically to build the most people-friendly and the most business-friendly economy in Africa. This is the goal that we are going to try to do, the most people-friendly and the most business-friendly. The tax issue is a major issue, because if you are so, fixated on revenue, you will essentially end up hurting your production. And so if you go back into history, you study the economic history of United States, Germany, England, all of them have used the tax, policy to encourage production. And this is why we are saying that, today you have a situation in Ghana, unbelievable situation, when businesses are out on strike. Businesses who should be selling are out on strike. Why are they out on strike? Because they've been overburdened by taxes. And if you don't take care, you'll be chasing the tax revenue and killing businesses. And when you kill businesses, it means you are causing unemployment. And so if you go back, this is why Nana Akufo-Addo is saying, we need to mobilize financial resources. So why are you going to be imposing VAT on financial services? It doesn't make sense in a country which has got a very large unbanked population, and we want people to bank. We will abolish that, he says. We will abolish import duty on all raw materials, because that has been a policy that will help production. Let the businesses produce. Let them make profit. And when they make profit and employ people, we will get income taxes and we will get corporate taxes. So you don't go ahead to kill the business. No, let them bring in the raw materials. Let them produce. Then you will tax, at the end of the day. And I think that you have a government where you have cutlasses being taxed, condoms being taxed, and even savings. There was a 1% imposition on savings, which was later withdrawn. On
investments,
yes. On investments, which was later. Even to think about it it's
been suspended.
It's been suspended. But even to think about it.
Oh, it's now abolished, is it?
Okay, good. Yeah, but even to think about it, it doesn't. It just questions who are making these policies.
But isn't it just another way?
Another way of raising revenue.
Well, yes,
but when you become desperate, this is what happens, that when you've mismanaged the economy into this hole, then anything sounds great to you because you don't have any option.
You know the tax I pay, Osofo. Sometimes when this thing come and I see the tax that I've paid, but at the same time I said, praise be to the Lord we serve, because it's going to build our nation. Then when my tax goes, you babies with sharp teeth, you are stealing the money and you don't want us to talk. We will talk today, we will talk tomorrow.
This government is being efficient in terms of the mechanisms that are being put in place.
Fatigue out relative to this rationalization.
Okay, now
there's a serious fatigue out.
Gabi, let's hear you. Yeah.
People are tired. Listening to this.
We are in serious crisis. And some of us forecast that latest by August 2014, if you're not careful, the government will shut down without any support from the opposition, as we are seeing in America. And I tell you, it's because of the fiscal situation. Let me give you an example. Last year, for instance, you set a target for yourself that you borrow from the domestic market 2.7 billion, and you ended up borrowing 7 billion.
Incredible.
A target for yourself that you borrow 2.7 billion from the domestic market, you ended up 7 billion. Over the last 8 years, he's talking about election petition. Over that period, they borrowed 8 billion. In the 8 months of the election petition, over 1.1 billion on average a month.
What is your source?
I'm coming. My source is the Bank of Ghana. Why we think of, please. Let's stop the propaganda and let's
somewhere.
Please, I beg you.
You don't just throw figures about.
Look,
Gabi, it's a legitimate question to ask you what your source is.
I just told him Bank of Ghana.
So move. I'm disputing that. Okay, so support. There's no such figures from Bank of Ghana. He's saying there is no figures. No, I didn't bandit figures around. No, he's not banding. So tell us what the figure is if it is not what he's saying. Yes, Gabi.
Yeah. Now, when you look at it, and you know the difficulty is, I think the Chronicle call it Mahamanomics. And they said borrow and borrow and borrow. It is, what is happening is you tax, you borrow and spend. You tax, you borrow and spend. And you borrow more to pay debts. So what is happening now? Look, government can even borrow as much as 27%. I'm talking about all these state institutions that they are allowed to go and borrow. If government is borrowing that high, at that rate, and is going out there to take all the money, and is taking the money not for productive stuff, but to pay debt. It's gone out now for about 600 million bonds. Okay? It is to pay debt. So what you're doing is you are running into a vicious cycle of borrowing and borrowing more to pay debt. And whilst you are doing so, you're crowding out the private sector. Industries are suffering. Utility prices have gone up. Industries are suffering. So you can't raise enough taxes. So you have to go and borrow more to pay debt. And you borrow and borrow and borrow to pay debt, and there's no productivity. Let me tell you.
So you stop borrowing? Is that part of the solution?
I'm just saying it's because we don't have a strategy.
No, because a while ago
let me tell you why we don't have a strategy.
You were complaining about the government not being heady about borrowing.
It is a government without strategy. Let me tell you, if you have strategy, my brother, you don't go and overspend on stuff like Maslock. You don't go and overspend on stuff that are not necessarily even critical. You don't pay for like secondary subsidies, education subsidies. You don't pay for GetFund, and yet you invest in LESDEP, you invest in JIDA, and all these things, and you pay more than what the budget are. And look, what is happening now? Even they set up this ministry, was it Tony Eju's thing?
Yeah.
It's supposed to monitor and evaluate. They're also broke. They are broke. NDPC is broke. So you're asking yourself, what really is the framework? Because even these things, you're supposed to have set them up to make sure that you're on track.
When you listen to Tony Edu, he sounds as if it's not just a question of being broke.
I agree.
But it's a question of what the government priority is.
Absolutely.
The government may not, the president may not want
he became redundant.
Yeah.
And you know what is happening? Look, at the moment, let me tell you how the difficult situation we're in. Usually when you talk of budget deficit, what it is that you spend more than you put in the budget. Sure. Isn't it?
Yeah, that's
what is happening now, okay? We are running a budget deficit by underspending. And you know why you're underspending and running a budget deficit? Because your revenue targets are not being met. So you are spending more than what you are raising, and not hitting your target. And you know what that means? Look at capital expenditure. We are below capital expenditure. Even goods and services, we have about 400 million Ghana cedis below what we targeted this year. So what it is that the productivity, even businesses are suffering, and all you are doing with the borrowing is to pay salaries and to pay more debt. And my brothers, I'm telling you, if by August this year, this government doesn't shut down, then it must find a way to go around it, because
you don't believe in the solutions that they are proffering.
They have no solution. There's no solution, because is
it the case that you think that you have a superior solution or they don't have a solution? Because the minister just told you.
Let me tell you. What solution? Let me tell you what has been happening. Okay?
I'll do that in a minute, because I need to take a break at this point.
A typical example. A typical example is this JIDA thing. It is, let's not joke with it. Youth unemployment is the major issue in this country. You spend 1 billion in 4 years, and you can't tell us the impact of that on youth unemployment. 1 billion in 4 years. Tell us the impact. So basically what it is that, would it give us any political advantage? Let's spend money there. We forget about priorities, and what will give you political advantage is what you spend.
Let me remind you.
It is, to me, listen, it is a sad situation.
Gabi,
only Ghana and I would the economy call IMF also your strategies. MPP for Oman clean campaign. Because media will may reply. Obi also your strategies. Also your strategies. Embra, you taking over power. Not dollar your 4 cities. And then dollar your 12 cities. We are strategies. Excuse me, strategies. More strategies. Please. Omomienye clean campaign. Omomienye clean campaign. Se woma anye clean campaign. Media assembly on bakabi ameyano. Mamenka semtro. Me Mrs. dollar. India. A Turkish niya medine ka. Ewo. Dosa or the bremi. Embra me money deposit. Not dollar no. 6 cedis to $1. In August 2022, over $100,000. I have the evidence. Between 1,550,000 Ghana cedis, meaning the dollar was 15 cedis, 50 pesos. Where were the strategies?
That whichever of you wins, the MPP candidate will run on the MPP's record. And the
Number 2, it's also not true. Say President Kufuor and the Kofano about Bank of Ghana. It's not true. We came into office in 2001 and I was President Kufuor's press secretary. You buy not Dr. Kwabena Dufo na governor. President Kufuor in his very democratic way, while Muvuno, Omana, we in a time. Go Dufo and a day. Dr. Baumia, about Banco. And Titus, after do for call, and now you cover Paul Aqua, a free IMF. Your friend is a governor. So time now, Dr. Baumia, our research department. You know, I said the PA, to almost back Castle. That was how I got to know him. Okay. No Dinechi, no Ukrainian books. Almost the meetings with the president. And I sat in those meetings. So it is not correct. In the person say we are more a banker, not we a party. So can say the time on far no NDC no power. Until we say we NDC. If you want to extend that argument, at what point was he employed at the Bank of Ghana? Was it during MPP time or NDC time? Until that argument should not even be used. In terms, I'm surprised Obeka Sasem and yet in Ukraine.
What is the difference between the ordinary thief and a political thief? Number 1, the ordinary thief steals your money, your bag, your watch, and your jewelry, isn't it? But the political thief steals your future, your career, your education, your health, and your business. Number 2, the hilarious part is that the ordinary thief will choose whom to rob. But you are the one who choose the political thief to rob you. Because we choose them. We vote them. We blindly say we are not blind. Who is deceiving who? The ridiculous part of the whole issue is that we will fight to defend and protect our belongings from the ordinary thief. Is it not? But we fight each other to defend and protect the political thief. Is that not what we do? Thugs will be fighting themselves to protect those that are stealing our career, stealing our job, stealing our health, stealing our success. What a shame.
If you reach a certain stage in life and there is nobody who can look you in the eye and tell you the truth, you are doomed. And that is where our country has gotten to. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. And I feel very terrible as a Ghanaian at this time. This country is in serious trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We are in serious trouble. We need to rescue this country, ladies and gentlemen. The presidency has been so depraved, so muddied, so dirtied, that I tell you in all sincerity as a Ghanaian, that I feel terribly sad today as a Ghanaian. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. Inshallah.
Please don't cry.
We shall rescue our country.
Right, hello, good morning and welcome to the show. This is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. It's a Wednesday, the 16th day of August 2023. By His grace, we're live and we're here with yet another edition of the show. Our gratitude to God, to the Most High God, for the rare privilege of being alive and, of course, the opportunity of having another conversation about the top stories making rounds here in our dear Republic. I'll let you into our panel for the morning's conversation shortly. But let's take a look at the front pages of our newspapers. Daily Graphic. Don't send troops to Niger, Presby Church. Greater Accra intensifies ban on tricycles. Revolutionizing education system, ICT key in STEM ministry. Galamsey divorce Asarikrum, community deity not spared. Ghanaian Times. VAT collection from January to May 2023. GRA bags 1.2 billion cedis. Represents 92.4% increase from last year. Foreign Minister orders withdrawal of officers from Passport Office. MP security chiefs meeting ends in stalemate as ECOWAS military couples converge on Accra tomorrow to decide on intervention in Niger. Cyber security professionals, security service providers to register by September 20. Police hospital to bury 150 unclaimed bodies. Daily Guide. Ayoko shakes Passport Office. Baby thief escapes death. Energy Ministry Secretary in court for stealing 287,000 cedis. Tricycles banned in Accra Business District. Police, Immigration, GRA top corruption report. The New Crusading Guide. Pragia Abuboya banned in main Accra streets. Call the CID boss to order. Property owners appeal to IGP. Akwansra any ropes in or chain over land grabbing accusations. New Age Greek Solutions unveils hybrid maize seeds. Says champion Sharp is game changer. CSR to mark 10 years of creating value for business and society. Gomafete chiefs fight Church of Pentecost for disrespecting their stool. The Insight. Nameway Thompson. Blast Akufo over plans to name University of Ghana after JB Dankwa. Never again. John Dumelo vows not to allow repetition of Ayasu Westwork on electoral violence. Promises victory for NDC in 2024. Niger coup. Burkina Faso and Mali governments write to UN condemning foreign powers' use of ECOWAS for military intervention. TVET employees cry of hunger over months of unpaid salaries. Angry workers accuse management of selective payment of stipend. The Herald. Foreign Minister cries over self-inflicted corruption at Passport Office. Insults state officers but spares known NPP Goro boys. Energy Ministry staff before court for stealing ADB's 287,000 cedis. President in quote, Kennedy Japan promises to change Ghanaians with R&B, high life, reggae and gospel songs. YE reveals engaging 84,483 youth. The Custodian. Government equipping youth to start businesses. Fremosei, Opari. Stop chasing Bank of Ghana, majority leader to minority. Primpack, Peace Watch Ghana to promote peace. NDC vets MP aspirants in 10 constituencies today. Akwetia needs effective MP, Dachi. The Ghanaian Publisher. Upon Nkrumah rallies media support for tourism. Poor leadership, corruption, stifling Africa's development. Obed Mahama fight in court over Nana. AG to prosecute 200 rent fraudsters. The Finder, tourism to be #1 contributor to GDP and create 150,000 jobs each year, Dr. Awal. YE shortlist 2,000 from 15,000 applicants for garment and textile module. Media should highlight opportunities in tourism, arts and culture. Upon Nkrumah, GRA records 92.4% increase in VAT in 5 months of 2023. The Daily Statesman. Government unveils plans for virtual high school. Mahama blows hot and cold over democracy. Bank of Ghana new office project senseless. Randy Abe. Okay. You should have added the other one. Napo hailed as architect of Ghana's energy success. The Informer. Minister mad in court as UN scores Passport Office 29% on corruption. African youth must be positively disruptive, Obasanjo. Ending HIV/AIDS in Africa. Access to health services crucial. Physician. Otunfo instills discipline. Fires wayward chief. NLC urges government to punish SETAG, but association says it remains resolute. Effective health sensitization program, youth advocate use of local language. Daily Post. Atu Force in Agboja blast Chairmansa and Professor Adair over 60 billion Bank of Ghana scandal, described them as hypocrites and part of the problems of Ghana. Ghanaians have had enough of Akufo-Addo's dangerous tribal supremacist agenda, Nimwe Thompson. Akufo-Addo's government is the most wasteful in Ghana's history, Franklin Kujo. NDC's Broja Jemfi urges Oforiatta to scrap 10% tax on sports betting and lottery winnings. And that's about it for the front pages. We'll be back shortly.
Enjoy the fruits of your labor, they say, but as humans, aging and physical infirmity stands our way of enjoying our mansions and homes. It often becomes challenging, if not impossible, to use our stairways day in, day out. With portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, PVs, you are assured of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions and homes. It's a self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models with wheelchair accessibility. Call it luxury, but it's a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home. It's affordable and can be installed in just 3 days without modification to your existing building. It's however easier to incorporate it at the construction stage. We also have traditional Fuji elevators and escalators for your high-rise buildings and malls. Visit Lifts and Elevators Company Limited at Sakumono for your elevators nationwide. For free consultation to call or WhatsApp us on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators, the elevator people.
Betway is your gateway to a theme park full of gaming excitement. A whirlpool of wonder where your favorite games come to life. Where you can take to the skies with max payouts that reach into the millions. All in the palm of your hand. Visit betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. Betway is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. No under 18. Bet responsibly. Betway. Bet your way.
Sometimes the unexpected happens and the hero falls down in his own story. But he needs not stay down for long. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance is your trusted health partner. Whether an individual building a business, with Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern. For the best health insurance solutions for corporate institutions, groups and associations, families and individuals, choose Cosmopolitan Health Insurance from our over 700 accredited health service providers nationwide. Call us on 0302 540 668 or 0501 678 547 for all your health insurance solutions. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern.
20 years of serving the world with herbal and alternative medicine, we've been successful in treating complicated medical conditions with a perfect combination of herbal and alternative methods of treatments like homeopathy, naturopathy, reflexology, and many more. We deliver excellent and effective service to people from all walks of life through scientific and traditional means. We have a well-equipped laboratory with advanced diagnostic and treatment devices to help detect your illness, so we know the right medication to be given. At Amen Scientific Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital, we are proud manufacturers of our own herbal medication. Our zeal and passion to save lives with our patients at heart and outstanding achievements since 1996 has won us several awards. That is why we say, go herbal, go Amen. We are located everywhere in all the regions. Amen Scientific Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital. Allahu Shafi, God is the healer.
My son, there's more blessing in giving than receiving. When you fear for you and couple the makers in
the pneumatological aberration of the Lord revealed unto me this night that me and my household should go out into the world and bless the world.
Makers Electronics Company Limited. Up to 67% discount. Our selected appliances.
This is what I call quintessential immaculatability.
The Makers Electronics Company Limited. Taifa Burkina Highway. Amasama Zongo Junction. Edike Pharmacy Dining. Oyer Fateman Boga Junction. Ashaman Valco Flat. Kumasi. Ahinema Kokobin. Asafubuachi Hospital Junction. Sakrani. Number 9 Market.
Tell mom and dad about the Makers Blessing Attack program
from 0552 222 253 and 0552 222 254. Terms and conditions apply.
Step into success with Accra Business School. Boost your career with our prestigious MSc degrees from KNUST. Pick from Human Resource Management, Communication and International Relations, Public Affairs. In just 12 months, our MBA can be yours. Dive into our BSc programs in IT Security and Cybercrime, IT Management and Business and Management, endorsed by top universities in Ireland and Wales. We offer flexible entry, payment and learning options. It's time to unlock your potential and take flight. Visit www.abs.edu.gh or dial 0263 888 555. Let Accra Business School elevate your future today.
government is being efficient in terms of the mechanisms that are being put in place.
Fatigue out there, relative to this rationalization.
Okay, now
there's a serious fatigue out
there. Gabi, let's hear you. Yeah.
People are tired.
Listening
to this.
We are in serious crisis. And some of us forecast that by August 2014, if you're not careful, the government will shut down.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. With me on the show is the youngest man in town. Okay. He swerved us last week. But the 70-year-old young man, who's also the editor of the Inside newspaper, Kwesi Pratt Jr., is here with us. Good morning, Kwesi.
Good morning, sir.
Happy birthday once again. Happy 70th.
Thank you, Randy. Thank you.
Right. All right. So with me on the show this morning is a friend and a brother of mine. The last time he was here, his designation was that of a deputy chief executive. Today it is that of the chief executive. I don't know what has happened in that 6 to 8 weeks that he was here and now. But, well, Ni Kwate Titus Glover is here with me on the show, and he will tell us the miracles that have happened in 6 weeks. Good morning.
Another good morning. It's nice to be back to your studios, and let me join you to celebrate my elder brother, a mentor, and a friend. Most of you don't know where we started from during the days of the struggle, Alliance for Change. That was when I joined the trade unions, 1991, 1992. And what I am today, I cannot boldly say that if Uncle-C's contribution has not been part of it, that will be lying to myself. Self, Nanado, Kwaku Bakum, Sheshe, Victor Newman, may he so rest in peace, Ajil Blank Singh, Dr. Nyawu Temaklo, and the rest. I really missed his birthday. Seriously, I was in the office when I saw the action that was going on now. I said, what happened? Maybe I was missed on the radar. But
not too far from you too.
Absolutely. He was telling me that just in Lashibi.
Yes.
You know, and he doesn't look the age. So young, so fresh, and take it or leave it. I mean, he has contributed in the media space, in the political space of our country. And just to salute him and wish him all the best. We have more years ahead of you, and my prayer is that we'll continue to learn under your feet and to make sure we develop this country together. So, Anede, I'm so excited to see you back. Thank you very much.
So what happened? You don't answer the question.
Oh, you want me to answer?
Yes.
No, what has happened? I
So
was
the
a
last
deputy.
time you came here, you were deputy.
Yes, and
between
my
6 to 8
predecessor,
weeks, you are now...
his contract is over.
Okay.
And His Excellency President gave me the opportunity to take over from him.
Okay.
So, to glory be to God, and to assure him that I'm going to do my best to uplift VACO. We are doing well, and our prayer is that all the things that the strategies I've put in place to make sure we bring the sales back to speed, we'll continue to do it. It's an ancient industry, 1967, using the same equipment. 99% of all the raw materials are imported from outside. You have a very energetic, strong, capable workforce and a very capable board, of course. A good team at the management level. So all
chairs
together,
your board currently?
It's called Dr. Henry Benya.
Okay.
Yeah, very strong personality that we're trying to bring all these energies together to uplift VACO. So I salute my workers. Board and the management.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And we hope that
Thank you, bro.
you'll be able to...
So I'll need your support.
To do
And my big brother.
Always. Busy?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I know that as a tradition in your household, you do parties 24th of December. You've not had one since COVID, I believe.
Yes.
Okay, but you're not a birthday person. You're not a birthday celebrating person. How did the 70th exactly a week ago go? How did it sit with, I don't want to say your personal principles, but something that you have not done for most part of 69 years? And then all of a sudden you have a huge event.
First of all, let me tell you a secret. And when I was younger,
yes,
for a very long time, I used to fall sick every birthday. Every birthday, I used to fall very, very seriously sick. So whilst people enjoy birthdays, I mean, I, for a long time, never enjoyed a birthday. I dreaded birthdays because I used to fall very, very sick. You know, so that's why I didn't like it. When I was 60, there was a conspiracy in the family to organize a surprise party. And I think at the last minute somebody hinted me and I refused to go. You know, I didn't go. Finally, somewhere in the night, I was virtually kidnapped by Lieutenant Colonel Beblo Latte and taken to the place. And so there's this thing about birthdays and so on. But this one, and to speak
was
the
it an
truth,
ambush?
Randy was involved in it, don't mind.
Conspirator.
All kinds of people were involved in it. All kinds of friends. Some friends that I hadn't seen for many, many years and so on. They all came together and put this together. Randy was very actively
instrumental.
You know. And so I turned up. And to be honest, I was very surprised. You know, I was really surprised. I wasn't expecting anything like that. Virtually everybody was there. I mean, from all the different political parties, from the trade unions. But the Secretary General of the TUC was there. Yeah. You know, people from academia, Professor Atabritrum and his wife, and so on. So I was really surprised. You know, but it came off, and as usual, you know, I felt that there was some unfairness to my friends also.
Okay.
Like me.
Because whatever I've done in my life was not done because I was extraordinary. Whatever I did in my life, I managed to do it because thousands, in some cases hundreds of thousands of people took part in doing it. But I end up stealing the credits all the time. You know, and I think it's most unfair to the people I've worked with all through my life. You know, whatever I've done, I mean, it's been done by people. I just happen to be there sometimes. A lot of people talk about my participation in Kumi Preko, which is supposed to be one of the highlights of my life. Randy, to be honest with you, at the very first meeting which decided to organize Kumi Preko, I wasn't there. It was this guy, Ferdinand Ayim.
Yes.
You know, the late Ferdinand Ayim, who first called me and said, look, there's been this meeting in Ejir Blankson's house. Ejir Blankson now is a member of the Council of State.
Yes.
And in fact, it was to celebrate the birthday of the president now, Nana Akufo-Addo. And it was at that meeting that the idea was mooted. So Ferdinand Ayim called me and said, look, this is what we want to do. We think you will be an important part of it. Join us. That's how I joined. But if you listen to the narrative, it's as if some of us were the kingpins. We started it all and so on.
You missed only the first meeting. But subsequently...
Yeah, but the first meeting was crucial. That was the founding meeting.
I know, but you're being overly modest.
No, you know, so that is it, you know. One of the other things that surprised me was that a few hours, 2 hours before I got to the venue, I got a call from the president. You know, and he said that he would have liked to be there. Not just the president and Nana Santividiatu, both of them called me and said that they would have liked to be there, but he had to go to this Abuja meeting. And he was very nice. I mean, he's always nice, you know, he was very nice. And Randy, it's something. I mean, and then former President Kufuor actually did a video.
Yeah.
You know, former President Kufuor actually did a video, and I think that former President Kufuor is an extraordinary man. He was my friend. You know, I was part of his campaign team. We worked so very hard and so on. But when he became president, I had a long-lasting fight with his administration. Terrible fight. Everybody knows about it, you know.
One man demonstrated that.
And yet, he can afford to be so kind and so pleasant. I mean, that's something which is remarkable about former President Kufuor, you know. His younger brother, who was defense minister, did not show up. He couldn't show up. You know, he hasn't been very well and so on. But he called to apologize and actually sent his son to represent him. So, I mean, I was completely overwhelmed. Completely overwhelmed, you know, completely overwhelmed. And I hope that what is left, I honestly think that I've spent the largest part of my life already is spent. I mean, at 70, the largest part of my life is spent. I don't know how much of my life is left. Maybe a year, maybe 2, maybe 10, maybe 20, I don't know. But I only hope that whatever is left, I can spend it doing things that are useful to myself and to society. That's all.
Will you finish your memoir?
Actually, I'm very close to finishing, you know. I mean, I'm just trying to do a 200-page book. Not a very big book. I'm trying to do a 200-page book. Not covering all of my life. I'm trying to do a 200-page book, which actually starts from 1990, you know, and ends in 1992. And that was a period when I met with Professor Dubois and others, and we formed the Movement for Freedom and Justice. So it's from that period up to the time when, you know, the ban on party political activities was lifted. That's the period I'm trying to cover. And I'm trying to cover that period because of the many distortions of that history.
Why do you want to limit it to that few years?
I'll do another one.
Okay.
But this is the first one that I want.
Because a lot have gone under.
There's so many distortions, and I think it's important to clear those distortions. For example, if you listen to some people, the narrative is that Professor Dubois broke the culture of silence and he formed the Movement for Freedom and Justice. That narrative is wrong.
Freedom and Justice is not a
It's completely wrong. It has no basis in fact, and so on. And there are many other such things, you know. So I'll deal with that in a 200-page book. I could have finished about a month ago. But then the international situation got so turbulent that I had to spend some time in China. I had to go to Russia. I had to travel around a few places, go to South Africa and so on, giving lectures, teaching and so on. And that is what did not enable me to finish. You know. Then I came back home and then got thrust into this whirlwind of a birthday and so on. And then this weekend is terrible. This weekend, the Central Committee of the Socialist Movement of Ghana is meeting. So that would also, you know, it's taking a lot of my time. So after that, if I can sit down for 3 weeks, I think I can finish the book.
Okay, so speaking about who you speaking about, the folks at Volta Serene, the Foster Hotel, Volta Serene, yes, they sent a text to say that you have a holiday with them anyone you want to pick up.
That's nice place.
So if you want to spend your 3 weeks finishing the book with them.
No, that's very nice. And thank you very much. You know, thank you very, very much.
Is it Steve who sent you the message?
You know, Randy.
The general manager, Steve? Or,
yes, Steve
said it.
Yes.
Or is our brother?
Yes.
Eric Kutache.
Yes.
I thank him very much, you know, thank him very, very much. This is a problem, you know. You know, There are 3 top hotels in this country which have given me, coupons to spend weekends and so. I just can't find the time. But Volta Serene, I'm told, is a fantastic place.
Very nice.
Very nice and so.
Very nice and cuisine.
Maybe it's a place to finish the book.
Yes.
Thank you
very much.
The Hills. And go and hide there.
It means you've been going there.
Oh, but when I was a deputy minister, we do our meetings, parliament.
You drive past me all the time when you're going to lecture. So maybe you should pass by for lunch at Pedjasi. Anytime you're going to lecture, you pass by me all the time.
Are you at Pedjasi?
So pass by Pedjasi Valley Resort for lunch.
Oh, okay, that would be nice. That would be nice.
Anyway, but let me ask you. People have asked me the question. I don't have the answer. At 70, in recent times, you see people look frail, not in the best of health, with a lot of quite a number of complications and all that. I don't know you as somebody who exercises a lot or is engaged in some serious physical activity and all that. And looking at what you've gone through, the story of your life, the things you've gone through, how come Kwesi looks this at 70? Is this strong at 70? Is this healthy at 70? Is still sharp at 70? Last week I was telling people that when they see you writing on a piece of paper, you're not taking down notes, you're not writing anything, you're just sketching, I mean, how is this possible? You've been doing this from when you were perhaps 10 or so. That's you dancing at your party.
Oh.
Yes, and that's Marianne to your right, your wife. Yeah, that's you dancing.
Only you again.
So, how is this possible? I was telling people last week that, look, you started doing TV when you were barely 10. Even as a Form 1 student in secondary school, you were a member of the debating club of your school. So you've done this for about 6 decades. How is it just possible? How?
Frankly, I don't know. I don't do anything extraordinary. I don't exercise. All the things that we were told is not good for health and so on, I've done them. I mean, there's nothing that I haven't done. At one stage, I used to smoke more than 2 packets a day.
Cigarettes?
Cigarettes. I used to smoke more than 2 packets a day at one stage and so on. So, I don't know. I think the only thing that...
Please, those watching us, Kwesi Pratt is not saying that you can smoke 2 packets a day and still be healthy. So please, don't misconstrue what he's saying.
What I do is to listen to my body.
Okay.
I mean, the body speaks to us all the time. The food we eat.
Okay.
If it's not good for you, your body will tell you.
Okay.
Your body tells you when to drink water.
Marianne says you cook on Sundays. You like the family to come over, you cook for them. You cook virtually everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I cook. I bake cakes, I do all that. It's not a problem. But I think the most important thing is to listen to your body. If you listen to your body, you never get anything wrong. I'm not admitting that I'm in the best of health. I'm not admitting that I'm anything. The point simply is that I've lived my life listening to my body.
Okay.
And doing what my body tells me. And you can check. I mean, one of the things that I used to suffer from a lot is no longer the case. It's just cold.
You mean your back?
Cold. I mean, have normal cold and so on. And for many people, when they have cold or influenza, they go on antibiotics and so on and so on. When I have a severe cold, a few puffs of cigarette relieves me considerably.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, it's not backed by science, but
yeah,
that's
a few puffs of cigarette relieves me, considerably. But I know it's not for everybody. All our bodies are not the same. We have different constitutions. What works for my brother Titus, will not work for you. It may not work for me. So The important thing is to listen to your body all the time. I don't exercise. I don't remember the last time I exercised. I don't, you know. But I suspect that my whole life is an exercise.
Okay. You still smoke?
Not really.
Sparingly.
Not really.
Yeah,
You know.
once in a while.
Yeah. Okay. And you know, we are also told that we should sleep a lot.
Yes.
Minimum, some say 6 hours, some say 5 hours.
You don't work with it. There are times you don't sleep.
There are times I don't sleep at all.
Okay.
I mean, I can go for 24 hours without sleeping. Normally, I sleep 4 hours a day.
Okay.
You know, that's the deepest sleep that I have.
Okay.
You know. So this whole advice that we should sleep a lot and so on, you know, I don't know whether it works. It may work.
But not for you.
Maybe as I grow older, it may become necessary to sleep a lot. But
Do you still do media 6 days in a week? I know until recently, Sunday was the only day you didn't have a media engagement. You had media engagement.
yeah, I still do 6 days a week.
You still do 6 days a week,
6
Monday
days
to
a week,
Saturday.
Yeah. And for Wednesdays, when I have to come to Metro, I normally wake up at 4:30 in the morning and leave by 5.
Okay. The traffic.
Yeah, traffic and all of that, you know. So
You drive yourself?
Yes.
No driver can drive me. Which driver can drive me, Randy? I mean, which driver will start with me at 4 a.m. and close at 12? It's not possible. And then somehow I tend to think of myself as a fairly good driver.
Okay.
Because I'm not comfortable when people
You
drive.
still drive the long distances you used to many years ago?
I don't have the opportunity. I used to drive to Tamale and Bolga and so on, you know, but now, and also because now air travel is much easier. You know, there's no need driving all the way to Tamale and Wa when you can fly. You know, and it's not that expensive, so.
At 70, have you thought of revising your schedule, your everyday life? Have you thought of slowing down on some things?
I don't have any
cutting
problem
back?
with my pace.
Okay.
If I begin to get problems with my pace, I probably will slow down. You know, I wouldn't make that decision. The body will slow me down. But as of now, I don't have any problem whatsoever with my
What
pace.
keeps your mind still sharp?
I don't even think that my mind is that sharp.
Maybe you, but for us, for many other people, you're there. When I was doing a video about you, I said that when it comes to thinking on the feet, you are one of the few that I really, really admire.
Randy,
yes.
Let me make a confession. You know, a lot of times I come and sit here and I say things and people say, wow, that's brilliant. A lot of times it's not from me. You know, I interact with so many people and I steal from them. You know, there was one time when I belonged to a study group. And in that study group were people like Professor Tabritum, Trikri Poku, you know, Professor Samuel, Dr. Benedu, and so on. So we used to meet every Sunday and study, you know. So there were all these professors, all these professionals there, and we used to spend 4 hours every Saturday, you know, just studying every Sunday, actually. So when I study with them, and I come out and I start speaking, I'm stealing from all of them. You understand? And you know, somebody like Professor Tabritum is one of the biggest brains I've encountered in my life.
Yeah.
So when I come here and I'm speaking, I'm saying things that I stole from him. Don't think that I'm that brilliant. I'm not. There are brilliant people that I associate with.
But it takes brilliance to be able to appreciate that what the person is saying is something that is weighty and is quite persuasive and is something that you can pick and even be able to contextualize that to make sense. It takes brilliance to be able to do that.
Yeah, but not as much brilliance as the original owners of the ideas and the analysis.
Well, I know that you would always be modest about it.
No, it's not being modest, it's being truthful. I mean,
I'm sure there are thousands of people.
Professor Martedu was in the study group that I belong to.
Right.
You know, so all these big brains.
Iron sharpeneth iron.
Pardon?
Iron sharpeneth iron.
Well, all these big brains have shaped my life. You know, and I'm grateful to all of them. I mean, without them, Without them, who would I really be? You know, I don't know. You know.
Another thing, I've listened to Kwesi a lot.
What I've tried to do is to get at least 3 chapters from
the book.
The memoir is not written.
and listening to him humbly tells a lot for us. One, as young ones that we are coming up, as to what some of these elders ahead of us, the way they have really prepared their lives, organized their lives. Somebody will say that he's been so active in the political space and the media space, but backstage, there's something on the quiet that has contributed to the 70 years. And I think that when you have a peaceful marriage, when you have a peaceful family, it also contributes a lot. You understand? Because this is somebody who spends almost 80-90% of his life outside the family. And sometimes you come home and the pressure domestically can also weigh you down. So you could see that the family has also contributed immensely to the heights that he has reached. And we need to give the wife and the kids that's peaceful environment for my big brother, for where he has reached through. For 70 years, the rest is plus. Our prayer is that God should sustain him more for us. You may disagree with him, and that is him. Anytime he make a statement, he believes in the statement that he's making, he makes it so forcefully. You may disagree with whatever he wants to say, but Kwesi that we all know will concede as and when he feels that, look, what I'm saying is not the way to go. But if he believes in his conviction, he goes all for it. And I give him thumbs up for all that he has done. We have learned from him, for all these great guys that I've been around with in all these days. And it's my prayer that I will continue to learn under his feet again. Except that Tema and Accra, sometimes our engagement are quite different. But one of these days I'll be coming home. And I just want to wish you well and slow down a bit, because 70 years is a lot. For you to do media engagement 6 days, and it's only the Sunday that you take a rest. I'm sure, Madam.
Rest from media engagement.
For media engagement,
it does.
I'm sure Madam will be complaining. So
Sundays he spends time in the office.
In the office,
yes.
You know. But I think Mimba, I think that you should slow down a bit because you are going up there. So the energy at which we're doing before, 30, 40 years back, is not the same as 70. So you should slow down a bit and limit the engagement, you know, and that will help. And you should hurry up with the book. Don't forget me when you're about to do the lunch.
How can I forget? But you know, throughout my life, there's never been a time when I've gotten home and I've been asked, where did you go?
Yes.
Or why are you coming home at this time?
Never.
Never happened in my life. Never. Never. Never had a quarrel in my house. Never.
That's fine.
Courtesy your 70th birthday, I had the opportunity of interviewing Marianne, your wife. And most people who know you don't know her. And perhaps having seen her before, don't even know the sound of her voice. I've not heard her in a public engagement and all that. And one of the things that I found fascinating was how persons like you have kept your family away from the public light and public space, with the exception of Amma, who obviously went into pageantry, their final years in high school, and then also is into media. I mean, for the rest of your family, especially your wife, they've stayed out of, you've kept them, or they've stayed out of the public light. And there's one of the things that I asked Marianne about, how that was possible, how that was made possible, you know. It was a very, I don't know if you've watched that interview or you heard it, but I think it's one of my best interviews. Although it didn't last for too long. Yeah. It was a very good interview. Anyway. All right. So, enjoy the fruits of your labor, they say. Because it's 70, although he's going strong and all that.
Days.
Yes, they say that as humans, aging and physical infirmity stands our way in enjoying our homes, mansions, and offices, especially if they are high-rise or stories. Now, it often become challenging, if not impossible, to use the stairway day in and day out. Worry no more, because with the portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, that's PVEs, you're sure of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions and homes. It's a simple-to-use, self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models with wheelchair accessibility to choose from. You may call it luxury, but it's a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home or the office. It's affordable and can be installed within 3 days with modifications to your building. Better still, if you're now building, get in touch with Lift and Elevators Ghana at Sakumono for your solutions and free consultations. You can also reach Lift and Elevators on 0200535515, 0200535515, or email at elevatorsgh@gmail.com. And if you need to secure your future, as far as your education is concerned, do it with Accra Business School. You can boost your career with your prestigious MSc degrees from KNUST. You can pick from Human Resource Management, Communication and International Marketing, International Relations, Public Affairs, or IT Management. In just 12 months, the MBA can be yours. Dive into the BSc programs in IT Security and Cybercrime, IT Management and Business Management, endorsed by top universities in Ireland and Wales. The Accra Business School also offers flexible entry payment and learning options convenient to you. It's time to unlock your potential and take position. Visit www.abs.edu.gh or call the Accra Business School on 0263 888 or 0263 888 Visit the campus at Spintex Road, Christ Square. Let Accra Business School elevate your future today. And what does wealth mean to you? Do you want to live like a tycoon? Remember who's got a molar, got the power. Ghana's newest lottery game draws live on Adom TV at 9 a.m., 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. daily. Now pick up your phones, tablets and computers and download the Game Park Games app on Play Store. You can also play on their website, www.gameparkgames.com, or by dialing *946# on all networks. Just choose 4 numbers from 0 to 9. 4 numbers from 0 to 9. It's easy to play and easy to win. Charlie, make we play this game and make some mola. Nobody beats our odds in Ghana. Game Park Games, more mola, more power. This game is regulated by the National Lottery Authority and is not for persons under 18. Play responsibly. We'll be back shortly.
And comes back when I'm sleeping. So naturally, I would wish that he would stay home more.
The only problem was, if you wanted to see him twice a day, you have to be awake really long. Yeah. That was the only problem. So you have to be awake before 6 o'clock, or you have to be awake after 12 o'clock.
Even now that all of us are not at home, he tries to make sure that there's a unit at home. Like every weekend, there's breakfast at his house. He calls every one of us. He'll call you. Have you spoken to your brother? Have you spoken to your sister? How are the grandkids? How are this? How is this? Like, those things for me are what makes me a superhero.
One of the biggest scoops that we got from Kwesi Pratt when I was editor of the Ghanaian Chronicle back in 1993 was predicting the war between the Nanumbas and Konkombas.
Almost every time, because you would never know what he's going to say next, or who is going to take him on, or so it's always, so anytime he comes back home in safely and in one piece, I thank God.
Being woken up at dawn by military men wanting to take him away. I remember that day. I remember there were times before they come, they would come to the house, he was already packed.
So we move almost the whole of the population of Accra. Not what you do now. It was frightening. And Rollins got frightened for the first time. But when you see the mass coming, of people coming, you get frightened.
If and when he slows down, and I don't see him slowing down anytime in the near future, there'll be people ready to pick up the slack.
Your journalistic, political, and social activism, as well as your commitment to the Nkrumah's cause, has helped shape public discourse, not only in our country, but across the world.
We continue to enjoy clarity of mind and also of expression, so you continue to join the debates.
Very consistent, and he believes in what he says, and I think he's the only person I know who is a true socialist.
I've known Kwesi Pratt, now known as Massa Pratt.
Enjoy the fruits of your labor, they say. But as humans, aging and physical infirmity stands our way of enjoying our mansions and homes. It often becomes challenging, if not impossible, to use our stairways day in, day out. With portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, PVs, you are assured of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions and homes. It's a self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models with wheelchair accessibility. Call it luxury, but it's a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home. It's affordable and can be installed in just 3 days without modification to your existing building. It's however easier to incorporate it at the construction stage. We also have traditional Fuji elevators and escalators for your high-rise buildings and malls. Visit Lifts and Elevators Company Limited at Sakumono for your elevators nationwide. For free consultation to call or WhatsApp us on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators, the elevator people.
Betway is your gateway to a theme park full of gaming excitement. A whirlpool of wonder where your favorite games come to life. Where you can take to the skies with max payouts that reach into the millions. All in the palm of your hand. Visit betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. Betway is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. No under 18. Bet responsibly. Betway. Bet your way.
Over 18 years in business, Appointed Time Printing Limited has delivered quality service to some of Ghana's well-known brands. With our equipment capacity, we are able to deliver 1,500 pieces of polo and t-shirts in 1 hour. This is only possible with us. For retailers and wholesalers, we offer for sale high-quality polo shirts and t-shirts in different colors at affordable prices. We have a one-stop shop for all creative designs and billboards, 3D signages, flexi banners, car branding, stickers and posters. Locate us at the old GNTC building near Swansea Shopping Arcade, Accra. Contact us on 0501 454165, 0501 454167. Connect with us on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook at Appointed Time GH. Appointed Time Printing Limited. Our printing is a...
My name is John, and this is my long-time crush, my cookie dipped in strawberry yogurt. On this scorching hot afternoon on our way back from a long job hunt, we met this good Samaritan who offered us 6 weeks later.
A special wedding reception for our bride and groom.
And there she is, my cookie, dipped in someone else's yogurt.
Who holds the moolah, holds the shots, play game by games, the easiest lottery to play and win. Big phone numbers from 0 to 9 up to 3 times daily to become one of our daily lucky winners. Dial *946# to play now, or you can also play online at www.gamepackgames.com. Game Park is regulated by the National Lottery Authority.
JA Plant Food Ghana Limited has introduced the all-new Jetto X70 Plus to the market. Jetto X70 Plus is a modern, spacious family SUV with a stylish design, advanced technology, and outstanding quality that promises you luxury with affordability. Jetto X70 Plus comes with an exceptional engine warranty of 4 years or 100,000 kilometers, giving you the ultimate peace of mind for years to come. And our dedicated service center at JA Plant Food offers you a wide range of car services and world-class customer support. The exclusive and outstanding. Get yourself the all-new Jetto X70 Plus. Get in touch with JA Plant Food Ghana Limited on 020-0000-831 or info@japlantfoodgh.com. Visit japlantfoodgh.com for more information.
Do you need a place with a stunning view and serene environment just beneath the Green Mountains with a commercial center and recreational area with an amazing park? Then look no further.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
Welcome to Rehoboth Havens, the most affordable yet luxurious gated community located in Damfa, Accra. We have 2 and 3 bedroom houses with spacious park. Let me show you. All of our rooms come with beautiful porcelain tiles, durable fitted kitchen cabinets,
constant water supply,
electricity and water 24/7.
I'm buying this house. Stop processing my papers. Eh? Move it, move it. If you're living in Ghana and want an affordable and luxurious house to buy, look no further than Rehoboth Social Housing Limited. Oh, and to those from the diaspora, aren't you tired of living in places that doesn't belong to you? You can also own your house and be your own landlord from Rehoboth Social Housing Limited. I have my own, Bosu Landlord.
Contact us now. Rehoboth Social Housing. Your housing dream becomes reality.
Yamawakwaba the ban Nadum Auto Fix and Accessories. Ahadie e bano care see near one career. Ubenya biwa. Care bian in the house, any new here. Yansu ye when him the four or best son we ye amount. Nadum Auto Fix and Accessories ye jume ye. Aye 24/7 ye CCU engine, brake, battery, yes a tie. Say bano car wash dia. Je wo abefun fidelity say steamer ye the whole car engine abra nsuo nko engine nim ye san ye detailing metre say ye betwetwe car no mu ba bia ma o ye wi a ye san polish car na ma o kama enye we no nko ye san to car batteries, tires, rims any de keke kan Manadum Auto Fix and Accessories ema o car ensi ne dedem na nwu adwuma ma o hwehwe ye chira kwan wo dansoma na sorry dan ho a ene KFC bon hwanimu e won kran se wo information anansem bi se bia 024-651-9369. Nadum Auto Fix and Accessories. O kwan so yon kwa papa.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. Still with me on the show, I have Wesley Pratt Jr. and the Honorable Nicola Titus Glover. Now, center spread Ghanaian Times, and there's also a story on the front page of Daily Graphic. We'll look at that. MP security chiefs meeting ends in stalemate as ECOWAS military couples converge on Accra tomorrow to decide on intervention in Niger. Angelos Yapetechi reports that a meeting between the Committees of Defense and Interior and Foreign Affairs of Parliament and Ghana's military chiefs on how Ghana should proceed on the political crisis in Niger has ended inconclusively. The meeting was for the security chiefs to brief the members of parliament on Ghana's readiness to deploy personnel as part of the ECOWAS planned military intervention in the West African country. The Ghanaian Times understands that the meeting ended inconclusively because the majority and minority caucuses have some disagreements whether or not Ghana should contribute troops for that intervention. While the minority argued that the cost of a military intervention would be catastrophic, their colleagues in the majority hold a view that the deployment would only be in line with Ghana's international commitments. According to the Ghanaian Times sources, the minority thinks that deploying troops to Niger would not be in the interest of the country as stipulated by Article 40 of the 92 Constitution. Article 40 mandates government in dealing with other countries to promote respect for international law, treaty obligations, and the settlement of international disputes by peaceful means. But the majority caucus members said 40D incapacitates the president from doing anything otherwise than deploy troops to join the ECOWAS stand by force to intervene in Niger. Clause D of Article 40 enjoins the government to, quote, adhere to the principles enshrining, or as the case may be, the aims and ideals of the Charter of the United Nations, the Commonwealth, and the Treaty of ECOWAS. Speaking with the Ghanaian Times exclusively after the over 2 hours meeting, an MP was at the meeting and pleaded anonymity, said the indications are that Ghana will be deploying troops to Niger. The opposition NDC is opposed to military intervention in Niger, but it seems the president is bent on deploying troops to Niger. His ministers of defense, interior, national security, and foreign affairs have made it clear to us that the president has committed at ECOWAS, and that is it. According to the source, the consequence of a military intervention may be dire, with other geopolitical interests in and around Niger and its neighboring countries. West African leaders at the summit in Abuja on August 11 directed the committees of chiefs of defense staff to promptly activate the ECOWAS standby force with all its elements. And, I have seen some polling being done by the MP for North Tongue, Samuel Kujetua Blakwa, on whether Ghana should be part of such a process or not, and overwhelmingly the people said no. But on the front page of the Daily Graphic, don't send troops to Niger, Presby Church. And Marianne Nani Amponsan reports that there's a growing public disapproval of Ghana's involvement in contributing troops to the West African standing force to fight a military junta in Niger. Various civil society groups, academicians, politicians, and security analysts have condemned the move, calling rather for diplomatic efforts to resolve the situation. The latest group to add its voice to the call is the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, which has indicated that it will be wrong for the government to take a unilateral decision on the matter without broad consultation. In an exclusive interview with the Daily Graphic, the clerk of the General Assembly of the Church, Reverend Dr. Godwin Nino Odonko, said coup d'etats were becoming a rampant phenomenon in West Africa. Should be a concern for all, stressing that they pointed to an urgent demand for African leaders to provide quality leadership for their citizens. Coup is not a good thing, and for it to happen in 3 countries coming from West Africa is an unfortunate thing. The sub-region added could prevent coups if the leaders offered leadership of hope with citizen-centered policies and programs, protection of human rights, promotion of the welfare of the people, and ensuring justice. And he says ECOWAS's decision to send troops to Niger would only escalate matters and not bring the peace we want in our part of the world. We should consider the vulnerable, especially children and women, who are going to suffer immensely because of such a decision. The right way to handle the issue, he said, was for ECOWAS leaders to engage the leadership of the junta to hand over power to the civilian government without resorting to any form of violence which will affect the very people they sought to protect. And he says that if the government decides to send troops, I think Parliament should be involved. They should give the right to government to do so. The executive cannot take such a decision alone. The decision must come from the people, and Parliament represents the people. I'm sure that if Parliament is consulted, the answer will be no. Okay. So the paper also speaks to other people. The Honorable Kujetua Ablakwa, they've spoken to some members of civil society and all that. Kwesi, I've seen also on the front page of the Insight newspaper, Burkina Faso and Mali governments write to the UN condemning foreign powers' use of ECOWAS for military intervention. We suggest that what the ECOWAS leaders intend doing is really not a thinking of their own, but that it is actually the West that is pushing them into this intervention.
Well, clearly, sending soldiers to Niger to go and restore the ousted president would be one of the most reckless actions ever taken in African history. And I'll give you the reasons. The last meeting in Abuja, you know, ECOWAS is a 16-member organization. The last meeting in Abuja, only 8 governments were represented in that meeting, 8 out of 16. Out of the 8, one country was represented by the ambassador in Abuja. So where is the legitimacy of the decisions which were taken in Abuja from that meeting? So practically, to all intents and purposes, 7 out of 16 took the decision to escalate. Let's put that aside. Nigeria, which is chairing ECOWAS and which is leading the charge, its parliament has voted overwhelmingly to reject military intervention in Niger. So if the Nigerian president continues to defy his parliament, his country's parliament, and to pursue this agenda, on what basis would he be talking about democracy? A president who disagrees with parliament, who is acting in violation of parliamentary decisions and so on, is not a democrat and cannot be talking about restoration of democracy. Then let's take this gentleman, Macky Sall, from Senegal. Macky Sall was in this meeting deciding to go and restore democracy in Niger. What did he leave behind? Opposition leaders in jail. Almost all the opposition leaders in Senegal have been arrested and placed in jail. Demonstrators are being shot on the streets. They are being tear gassed and so on. All because he dreamt about amending the country's constitution to go for a 3rd term. He too is going to Niger to restore democracy. Take Alassane Ouattara, who is the lead man in this effort to restore democracy. First and foremost, Alassane Ouattara was installed by the French army. The French army overthrew Laurent Gbagbo and put him there. He's a beneficiary of a coup d'etat by the French army. It didn't end there. Alassane Ouattara amended La Côte d'Ivoire's constitution and gave himself a 3rd term. He too, he's going to Niger. Alassane Ouattara too is going to Niger to restore democracy. Take all of those leaders. Sierra Leone, it is now in turmoil. And indeed, a week ago, or 10 days ago, the government of Sierra Leone had to arrest many of the military officers because it was feared that they were going to, stage a coup d'etat. There's a disputed election in Sierra Leone. There's a disputed election in Nigeria and so on. All of these leaders are the people who have met to go and restore democracy in Niger. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Now, take our own president. Take our own president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. When Alassane Ouattara misbehaved, amended his country's constitution, and somehow managed to assume the presidency for a 3rd term. Look, our president flew there to go and congratulate him. He went and congratulated him for amending the country's constitution, giving himself a 3rd term. He was at his inauguration. Where is the moral authority to go and install, democracy in Niger? Many of the leaders, if they themselves did not stage coup d'etats to get to where they are beneficiaries of coup regimes. And they are going there to restore democracy. I can't believe it. Let's put that aside. If you take international law, international law requires that an invasion of any country, ought to receive approval from the UN Security Council. Have they obtained the approval from the UN Security Council? They haven't. So they are acting lawlessly. They are acting against international law. And if you act against international law, how are you a democrat? If you are lawless, how can you be a democrat when you are lawless? So lawless. For many of the leaders of the 16 countries in ECOWAS, their national constitutions require that before they declare war, they have to seek the approval of their parliament. Apart from Tinubu in Nigeria, which one of them has sought parliamentary approval. None whatsoever. None has sought parliamentary approval.
But at least from what we're reading in the Ghanaian Times, it appears that the Ghanaian authorities are engaging Parliament.
No, Randy. The Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament and the Defense Committee of Parliament is not Parliament. It's not Parliament. The Constitution does not seek approval from committees of Parliament. The committee urges that they should seek approval from Parliament. Committees of Parliament cannot be Parliament. So this exercise is it's a useless exercise, more or less. You understand? Now, if you read the Ghanaian Times, and first of all, I have to commend the Ghanaian Times for getting the story. This meeting happened behind closed doors only yesterday. And Ghanaian Times somehow managed to get details of the meeting. I got details of the meeting by the evening. And I like to commend Ghanaian Times for getting details of the meeting. Now, the argument is being made that once ECOWAS makes a decision, all countries in the region are supposed to implement that decision, even without reference to their parliaments, without reference to the public opinion in those countries and so on. I think that's completely wrong. And if our leaders have that attitude, our leaders cannot claim to be restoring democracy anywhere. So, now there's the other side of it, and Titus, you know better than I do. All West African countries are in serious economic trouble. Very serious economic trouble, okay? In our own country, we have increased utility tariffs, water bill, electricity bill. Today, if you make a phone call, you pay tax on it. If you send Momo to your wife, you pay tax on it, and so on. All because we need money to survive, as a country. Petroleum prices are up. Food prices have been up 300% over the last 2 years and so on. Now, we are making all of these sacrifices in order to find resources for our survival. Our leaders turn around and say that the sacrifices we've made, the little money that we've been able to accumulate, they're going to spend it on a war in Niger. I mean, how smart? We are paying huge increases in tariffs and so on. And our understanding is that we are paying these huge increases in tariffs and so on so that we can balance our books, so that we can pay public sector workers, so that we can service our debt, and so that we can repay our loans and so on, build a healthy economy. That money is what is going to be spent on the useless war in Niger. And I take very serious exception to those who are proposing that we spend our money on that war. For those of you who have been following Russia's special military exercise in Ukraine, you understand? Look at how much money all these Western countries are pumping into Ukraine's war effort. Sometimes you wake up in the morning, $1 billion to Ukraine and so on. France, which will be the principal beneficiary of the attack on Niger, looks 16 countries in West Africa in the face and says, if you send your soldiers to go and die in Niger, I will give you $25 million. What an insult! France, that is what is offering as aid to go and wage war in Niger. $25 million. I mean, it's so insulting that Ghanaian soldiers should go and die. Nigerian soldiers should go and die for $25 million from France. And France will be the sole beneficiary. Look, if you go to France, 1 out of every 3 light bulbs in France is powered by uranium from Niger. France has a huge military base in Niger. If you take the United States of America, its second largest drone base in the world is based in Niger. These countries have an interest in controlling Niger. They don't want to send their soldiers to go and die. They know that it is illegal. They have no permission from the UN Security Council to wage war. So they turn to their surrogates in Africa and say, go and fight for us. Which West African country will benefit from a war in Niger? No West African country will get any benefits out of this war. Indeed, already we are beginning to see the bite. Last week, onion sellers were complaining. I don't know if you guys heard about the complaint from onion sellers. Because a lot of the onions we consume in this country comes from Niger. Since this stalemate, the traders are no longer able to go to Niger to go and bring, onions. So onion prices are escalating. I'm told that tomato prices have also started shooting up through the skies and so on. So none of our countries is going to benefit from this useless adventure. In any case, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Guinea have said that any attack on Niger will be considered as an attack on them, which means that they will fight us in Niger. If we send troops to Niger, we are not just going to fight the junta in Niger, we are going to fight Burkina Faso, we are going to fight Guinea, and we are going to fight Mali. Which head of states are deciding to launch this useless war against Mali, against Burkina Faso, against Guinea, and against Niger? In any case, the Chadian government has also made it very clear that they would not allow their territory to be used to wage war on Niger. That's another dimension, okay? Algeria has issued a very strong statement. The Algerian government has issued a very strong statement opposed to foreign intervention in Niger. Now, the governors of the states, Nigerian states, bordering Niger, have said that they would not allow their territories to be used to wage any senseless war. Today, in our newspapers, the Presbyterian Church has stated its clear opposition to any senseless war in Niger, the Presbyterian Church. Elsewhere, trade unions in the sub-region, youth organizations, the gender movement, political movements and so on, are all stating their stern opposition to this war. And 8 heads of states, in fact 7 heads of states in West Africa, 7 heads of states in Africa, against the interests of their people, against decisions of their parliament and so on, want to go and fight. What is this? What fight? Look, these sets of states, they should remember that our soldiers are human beings like them. Our soldiers have wives, they have children, they have relatives, some of them are breadwinners. They took an oath to defend the Constitution of Ghana. They took an oath to defend the territorial integrity of Ghana. They did not take an oath to go and fight useless wars that do not benefit their countries, do not benefit anybody. They don't want to die. Our soldiers are not suicidal. People think that as soldiers, once you become a soldier, it is okay if you are killed. That's rubbish. Our soldiers do not want to die. If they have to die, it has to be for worthy causes. Causes which uphold our constitution, causes which protect the territorial integrity of Ghana and so on. Not such a useless war. In any case, that president who was overthrown, how democratic was he? That president, what is so special about President Bazoum that we have to die to go and restore him? What difference would that make to the lives of the people of Niger? What difference would that make to the lives of people in West Africa? And I've heard people say all kinds of things. I mean, sometimes they say that, a West civilian regime is better than a military regime. It is not true. That is not true. Our history has not borne that out. Why? I saw the Achampong government from 1972 up to 1979. Many of the things we continue to enjoy today came from the Achampong government. I mean, the boost to agriculture under Operation Feed Yourself and Industries program has never been replicated by any civilian administration. When the ECOWAS leaders went to Mali to go and persuade them to hand over power, to restore the old regime, they saw the hundreds of thousands of people in the streets supporting the government, the coup regime. How many of these West African leaders are as popular as the coup leaders? The 34-year-old chap who has taken over in Burkina Faso, how many of our leaders are as popular as he is in Burkina Faso? They are not half as popular as he is in Burkina Faso. In any case, one of the things that frightens me is the apparent ignorance of West African leaders. At the time they were asking the Burkinabes to go for elections, 60% of the land territory of Burkina Faso was under Islamic insurgents' control. In that situation, how could they have gone for elections? What is the value of elections in a country where 60% of the land territory is occupied by Islamic insurgents? So our West African leaders, they must wake up and think and stop playing these childish games with us. 60% of the land territory was under insurgents. If West African leaders know how to fight, why didn't they fight when the Islamic insurgents were taking over parts of Guinea, parts of Mali, and Burkina Faso? When the Islamic insurgents attacked the northern parts of Benin, where were the West African leaders? When the Islamic insurgents attacked the northern part of Togo, where were the West African leaders? They didn't care. They didn't move. Now that one of their kind has been overthrown, they are mobilizing forces to go and fight. Fight who? Fight who?
Why
this Nigerian president, Tinubu, you have the Boko Haram insurgency on your land. You can't fight Boko Haram, you are going to Niger to fight. Boko Haram, ragtag army, you can't fight them. And you want to go to Niger and fight. This decision to fight is senseless. It is reckless. It has no benefit for the peoples of West Africa, has no benefits even for the heads of states. Do you know what is happening, Randy? These heads of states are frightened to the marrow. You know why they are frightened? They are mismanaging their countries the same way that this guy in Niger mismanaged his country. They are mismanaging their countries the same way that the Malian heads of state mismanaged his country. And they are frightened to the marrow that if they don't make some moves, what is happening in Niger can happen in their country. That's all. That's why they're pushing us to war. No other reason. It is their fear, their paranoia, which is pushing us to war. But we would not suffer because our heads of state have mismanaged our economies and are frightened of their shadows. We would not suffer. The peoples of West Africa will rise up and resist this adventure. And already there are signs that all the peoples of West Africa, in their trade unions, in their women's organizations, in their youth and students movements and so on, will resist this useless adventure.
Now, tell us, some would ask, what is so special about Niger that it happened in Burkina Faso, beyond condemning the coup and asking the military to hand over power to the civilians? Nothing happened. It happened in Guinea. Beyond those two things, nothing. It happened in Mali, nothing. What is it about Niger?
Thank you so much. And let me say the coup d'etat in whatever shape or form is the best to governance. Whether you dislike a democratically elected government, so long as you have chosen the path of a democracy, you must be able to conform and always use the tenets of democracy in the selection of who leads your country at whatever time. I don't support coup. So, right from the word go, those who have taken over, like you said in Guinea, Burkina Faso, there have been a series of coup d'etat after Ouattara, then Mali, and until recently, Niger. So for me, this coup business of trying to come to power for governance and all that, we've had enough of these things. Your question as to what is so special about Niger, I don't know. I don't know. But ECOWAS, what I remember and I recall when we had this standby force came to mind as a result of the Liberian Civil War. And I think we all witnessed how the Civil War of Liberia, the way it went to, where human beings were being killed. We have our nationals, Ghanaian nationals, in Liberia. Other nationals were also in Liberia. So it took the government at the time. Look, there's a need for us to save our people. And you have the backing of the UN that come on, organize something and go and rescue our people. And that intervention is quite distinct from a coup d'etat. And that brought sanity. And there was a roadmap that led to the what? The bringing back of democracy, and for that matter, Johnson Sirleaf. But on this one of this Niger coup, ECOWAS has not been to Guinea. They made an attempt to speak to the military head of state. He was the ADC, was he not? To the Guinean president, that tall guy. Yes. Attempts were made to make sure they bring back democracy, they get a roadmap and blah, blah, blah. We don't know what have happened as of now. Then came Burkina Faso, then until recently Mali and Niger. Listen to Kwesi right now, that Algeria, when you look at the map, at the south of Niger is Nigeria. At I think the eastern part or the western part is Mali. You have Chad around it, and Algeria at the top, saying that they're not going to allow any foreign country to invade into Niger. So the question is, which part are you going to use? And the northern states that are closer to Niger at the south, which is the north of Nigeria, are also saying that they're not going to allow that to happen. This is a very serious matter that we need to contend with. And again, Parliament, from what you read, the story that you read, that they're engaging the Defense and Interior Committee to look at the consideration and all that. Yes, whether consideration need to be made. But when you look at currently the finances of our country, how it is difficult and how government is struggling and pushing hard to make sure we bring things to speed. And in any case, there's no budget allocation to this emergency. So where are we going to get the money to go and prosecute this program of trying to restore Bazoum? They've threatened him. They said any attempt to invade their country, they'll kill him. Have you read about that one too?
Yeah, sure.
So what do you want? They said because what he has done is treason. And for that matter, any attempt, the first soldier that land on the soil of Niger, they'll kill him. And these guys, they mean what they say. Are you going to defend a personality that will end up ending his life? I think that the best way to handle this matter is about international diplomacy. Our president has been a foreign minister before, and I know his prowess when it comes to diplomacy, engagement, consultations, and I believe that is his strength. He could use his colleagues in ECOWAS and tell them, look, guys, that is not the best route that we can go. Let's engage. Let's go there. Let's talk to our people. Let them give us a roadmap so that we bring back democracy. But where you want to send your soldiers in this difficult and challenging times that we find ourselves in, I don't think it will serve our good. So seriously, I wish more of this discussion. And now the churches are speaking. These days, the political space, people are making good suggestions, and I think that the president sitting back and watching and listening to some of these things can influence his decision to hold on and see the best decision that he can take to make sure that we avoid some of these things that he can do. I know he's a diplomat. He can use that strength in his diplomacy to engage his colleagues. There are 16 member states. Guinea didn't go, Burkina didn't go, Mali didn't go, and even the Niger itself, I think the foreign minister was the one that attended. So it was only
the foreign minister of the ousted regime.
The ousted regime, and he only went as an observer because he has no status. So technically, you can say about only 7 people that attended. So 7, in a way, they form a quorum. But taking a major decision like this, you need everybody on board so that we can speak to the issue. So if Tinubu is disrespecting his parliament and want to take a unilateral decision, it's a recipe for disaster in Nigeria. But I still believe that the president, knowing him, will be doing a lot of consultation, and I'm sure it will be in the interest of the country. But I will not support any military intervention. We need to engage. We must use diplomacy to address the problem of Nigeria.
All right, okay. Well, Titus, let's stay with you and look at the issues of the central bank. The central bank has been on the front burner for a while, especially when the allegations of printing money to fund the government's deficit came up in 2021 and 2022. Now, they have published the annual reports, and the annual reports is what is actually brought a lot of issues up. And, so now the issue of the so-called independence or autonomy of the central bank has come up. The issue of a breach of laws in terms of the Act 612, which stipulates what the central bank can do or cannot do in terms of the limit on borrowing to government, what must happen if the limits will have to be exceeded, and what should happen even if the limit is met. And it appears that for 2 fiscal years that didn't happen, 2 financial years, that hasn't happened. So those issues have been raised. Now, in the annual report, we also get to see how the BOG spent money on some particular
expenditures.
Yes, and one of the key ones has been the quest for a new building. Of course, we have also heard the reasons they have given for doing a new headquarters for $250 million, $250 million US dollars, and all that. Now we have the majority and minority in parliament also getting into a tango. So the majority leader has justified a decision by the bank to build a new head office amidst the current economic crisis. According to him, the new Bank of Ghana head office, when completed, will put the country at a greater chance of being selected as the headquarters of ECOWAS, for ECOWAS's new currency, ECO. In an interview with Angel FM on Thursday, August 10, the Swami legislator said, when this is achieved, it will boost economic growth in Ghana. For a long time, ECOWAS wants to use a common currency, which is ECO. The West African countries are considering 2 countries that can serve as headquarters to the ECO. A bank to be responsible for that, and that will place under the central bank of that country. So far, 3 countries, Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, and Ghana, being considered to host it, but Ghana has a greater chance. And his justification comes after the NDC has said this. He's also raised some issues about Parliament's supervision over the central bank. And this is also stated a response from the minority. Now, speaking on Oman FM, it says that so this is a response for a minority. Let me just read. It says, I've come across a publication from an interview the majority leader that leader in parliament reportedly granted to Oman FM. It's either the majority leader or Chairman Sabonso exhibits such a gross misunderstanding of the germane issues we raised about the Bank of Ghana. He has deliberately chosen to wish away the concerns of Ghanaians, as his government has always done. The Bank of Ghana is not above the law. Indeed, answers to the Finance Committee of Parliament on urgent matters, as the majority leader alluded to. I wish to restate our vexed concerns about the Bank of Ghana and those of well-meaning Ghanaians, just to help the majority leader. 1, we in the NDC minority didn't declare the Bank of Ghana bankrupt or insolvent. Its own 2020 annual report and financial statements did. According to the BOG's own books, the bank recorded a staggering loss of 60.8 billion and a negative equity of 55.1 billion. This is unprecedented in the history of Ghana. 2, the Bank of Ghana arrived at this historic low because the governor, his deputies and the board broke their own law, the Bank of Ghana Act 2002 Act 612, as amended. Section 3 of this act limits all loans and advances to the government to just 5% of the previous year's revenue. Despite constant warnings from the minority in the past, the Bank of Ghana printed 35 billion in 2021 and 42 billion in 2022, all in contravention of their own law. To make matters worse, the Bank of Ghana decided to team up with the government to write off a colossal 48 billion cedis of government's indebtedness, contrary to Section 67 of the Public Financial Management Act. Someone must be held accountable for this, and the minority in parliament cannot be blamed for calling for this accountability. 3, at a time when the Bank of Ghana has recorded these huge loss, the Bank of Ghana is putting up a new head office building at Reach at an astonishing cost of $250 million. The outlandish and outrageously expensive new office building is going on at a time when Ghana's economy is under an IMF program and reeling under hyperinflation caused by the Bank of Ghana's own reckless act of printing money to finance government's expenditure. This construction is ongoing at a time when Ghana has stopped servicing its domestic and external debts, and road contractors, school feeding caterers, buffer stock suppliers have all not been paid. The Bank of Ghana's own annual report and financial statement betray the bank's financial recklessness and lack of sensitivity to the suffering plight of Ghanaians. How can one justify a bank in this state of financial distress, spending 131.6 million cedis on vehicle maintenance and 97.4 million on domestic and foreign travels? Which bank in this distress will entertain capital expenditure commitments of 711.21 million in 2022 alone, and actually spend between $50 million to $60 million on ultra-modern guest houses in Takoradi and Tamale? Legal claims against Bank of Ghana in 2022 alone amounted to 78.95 million. Is the majority leader suggesting to us that it is right for the affairs of the central bank to be mismanaged to this level? Is he by any means suggesting that one must defend his party's position on every single national issue, even if this is inimical to the national interest? Is it not intriguing and ironic that the leadership of majority caucus in parliament and the MPP party are always quick to state that after forcing one's work that the Ministry of Finance must know better? It is precisely the reason why I had the experience, foresight and vision to see and caution institutions like the Bank of Ghana a couple of years ago against the very acts they have now brought the bank on its knees. Clearly, the majority leader, Chairman Sabonso, either misunderstood the issues and needs to update himself, or he has chosen to embark on his usual diversionary tactics. And there's also the angle of Professor Adair, who disagrees with the minority on the Occupy Bank of Ghana issue. And as you would see, I made the front page. BOG New Office Project Senseless Randiabe, that's the Daily Statesman. And this is how the story starts. I find it quite intriguing. It says, compared to similar private development projects, the new Bank of Ghana headquarters building under construction is less expensive. Martin Kpebu, a private attorney, has said. BOG says it's spending $250 million to build a new head office because its current office edifice, which was built in the 1960s, is no longer fit for purpose and cannot stand any major earth tremors. Randiabe, host of Metro TV's Good Morning Ghana show, has described the decision and actions of those behind the construction of the new office complex as senseless. Moderating a discussion on the matter yesterday on the show, he even suggested that instead of using the word senseless, the right word should be stupid. He subtly questioned the thinking processes of those who desire to execute the project, saying they need some examination. Speaking on Accra-based Joy News file over the weekend, Mr. Kpebu, however, said after researching the cost of construction in Accra, he was outstanding and applauded government for undertaking such a project at a less expensive cost. Quote, I asked people who know about building in Accra, and I got jaw-dropping facts. For the first time, government can build at a far lower cost than the private sector. I looked at this document. It's called 2021 Property and Construction. When you go to page 81, you see that in Ghana, the average, if you want to build, shows $2,658 per square meter. Yet this particular building is far cheaper, not exceeding $2,200 per square meter. According to him, the fact that COVID-19 hit the nation does not mean that the country should not undertake any developmental project. He added that having an economic challenge does not preclude the construction of buildings, and that the construction of roads and other projects stimulates the economy. And they've also quoted a geological survey department and all others. Titus, I don't know what you make of the Bank of Ghana situation. Yes.
I'm not an economist, but I speak from a layman perspective.
Please do.
And I've read quite some few commentaries about this Bank of Ghana saga, where the minority is threatening the governor of the bank to resign, else they will picket at the office of the central bank to force him to exit. And those who are saying that they disagree with the structural integrity tests of the current Bank of Ghana building, I beg to differ.
I'm not sure that I've heard anybody raise an issue about the structural integrity test.
Because they are looking at the sum involved.
Yes.
In the construction.
Yes.
Of that project.
Yes.
And if you have not had a detail into that cost, President Kufo once said that Ghanaians, we seem to know the cost of everything, but we don't appreciate the value of everything.
Yes.
Whatever has gone into that cost of that building, first of all, we need to interrogate it. What at all is in that building that you are putting up? We need to know the detail of that project and what that is involved in the building. So clearly it tells us that this is a building that was put up by the first president in the early 60s. So now, if structural integrity says that for where it is, any future disaster that will happen, we will not see any good thing out of it. So clearly, government have come and gone, and their boards of the Bank of Ghana have all approved. Atufosi himself was serving on that particular Bank of Ghana board, and they approved.
Approved what?
The building, the changing of the new site or the new
but
building.
that's not. That's not an issue. What I believe is an issue is the fact that the Bank of Ghana wants to spend $250 million to build a new head office at this time.
Anity, so are we saying that we should sit down for anything to happen? We don't know when any earthquake is going to strike.
Okay, so I have personally said, and yesterday I said,
you understand?
That
you don't know when.
I don't have a problem with a new.
Yes. You will not know when all those areas, all the way to Wager, it's an earthquake-prone area.
Which areas?
From Accra Central.
Yes.
Towards Mamprobi, Kolegono.
Yes.
All the way to Wager, towards the central region. It's a typical earthquake-prone area. And anything at all can happen. And if government and board of the central bank have all approved that there's a need for you to move and put up a new building, if you have issue with the cost of the project and you want to find out, the first thing you need to do is get a copy of the plan. What and what has gone into that? And if you want to interrogate it, then come out and tell us. But when you come out and you say that $250 million and we want to throw it into the wind, that is where I have issue. But you should tell me, you must convince me that what is in the building, in the project, and you give me the detail that you have, that is why I agree with you. But when you just throw your hands in despair and say that
so you are CEO.
I am avoiding.
No, you are CEO of Valco.
Yes.
You know Valco's financial position.
Yes, I know.
I am sure that there are many things that you need to do at Valco.
Absolutely.
Maybe even building a new structure.
Sure.
Perhaps where you are was also built on Kwame Nkrumah's time.
Sure.
And therefore, you would also need a new building. In Valco's current situation, is that when you will go and sit down as a board and decide that you want to spend $50 million to build a new head office?
Not at all. When it comes to Valco 10, not at all.
Okay. So but if you look at hold on. If you look at the BOG's finances, the reports that they have submitted, and it is from that report that this expenditure came up, and that is what has led to the interrogation. That if you look at the situation in terms of the finances of the central bank, and of course this country as well, because the Bank of Ghana is owned by Ghana. Ghana is the social holder. Is this the time to spend $250 million building a head office?
I'm sure the $250 million is not going to be spent at a go. I'm sure.
When is that a go?
What I'm saying is that they are not spending all the $250 million right in the same year.
Yes.
Maybe in phases. Maybe phase 1, phase 2, until the completion of the project. So they will take cognizance of their condition, of the circumstance in which they find themselves. But for us to sit here, I'm not privy to all the detail of what is going on. So I'll be very limited in the discussion of this very subject on the Bank of Ghana cost of the building. But I will assume that the building will be carried in phases, taking cognizance of their situation currently as it is. And then let me repeat myself. There's a need for us to have an insight of what is going into this building, whatever they are doing. That is one side. Now, when you come to the issue about the Bank of Ghana supporting, the central bank supporting government, and currently we all know that Ghana, unfortunately, will not have access to capital market, international capital market. The only way we can raise some money to support government is through domestic use. And that is the more reason why the central bank had come to the rescue of government to make sure we're able to support government in doing some of these things. One might think that the central bank has overborrowed, but hey, the situation in which we find ourselves, there's no other way that we can support government than to go to the central bank to come to the rescue of government. I was listening to my colleague Abna Osiasari in his submission at the plenary, where he was making referral to the Central Bank of England, some other countries that have gone through similar problems. Now,
the Bank of England didn't print money for the government.
So the IMF, that's the big brother, whom we have gone to for rescue in the running of this economy, really felt nothing bad about that. You are aware of that, thinking that the only way that we can support government is for the central bank to come to the rescue of government. But there should be a program. There should be a way that government should be able to pay out these loans that he has contracted from the central bank.
So Titus, you are a former member of parliament. You are fully aware that the Bank of Ghana is governed by an act.
Sure.
The framers of that law envisage a situation where the 5% of lending to government we could hit the ceiling. The framers of the law envisage that.
Sure.
And they made a provision of what should happen when that situation comes up.
So you need to go back.
The framers of the law also envisage a situation where there will be the need to raise the limit, and they made provision for that in the law.
Yeah.
The framers of the PFMA also envisage a situation where some indebtedness on the books of entities like the Bank of Ghana would have to be written off and clearly provided for that in the act.
So what is your question?
Why would you not follow?
That is the only.
In doing so, in doing what you want to do,
so that you're
in year 1, in year 2, because in 2020, the Ministry of Finance
went to Parliament
over the fiscal responsibility.
Sure.
Because there was a law, and the law says that if you want something suspended or changed, this is what you ought to do.
Sure.
But you do it in year 1, the issues are raised, you deny it. You do it in year 2, you deny it. And then once the IMF thing comes in, you no longer can deny it, so everybody gets to know. And the law is clear. The framers of the law anticipated.
And I agree with you perfectly that the BOG should have,
and the Ministry of Finance
should have gone through Parliament to make sure that all these corrections, all these positions are taken care of, so that everybody's back will be covered. But when you take a unilateral decision, you always have problems. So since the Bank of Ghana Act clearly states all the provisions, the steps that you need to take when you're envisaging a snag, what you need to do, how you go about it, that is what's supposed to be have been. But I don't know what really happened. Sincerely sitting here, I don't know really what happened. So going forward, I think that the governor must go back and make sure they rectify these wrongs that they have done. Go back to Parliament and make sure they do the needful, so that we'll not go back and repeat the same things that we find ourselves in. Because the central bank seriously need to support government. We cannot go to the international capital market anymore. So the only panacea we have is to follow the central bank to advance the money to support government business.
But we also know that there are consequences to that. So when you are...
that is why you're guided.
So I'm saying that that's why you ought not to be surprised that you did an inflation of 50-something and you're doing an inflation of 40-something. Because the same central bank that is giving you the policies that it says is supposed to mop up excess money and all that, on the blind side of everybody minus government, was the same person that was the same institution that was contributing to that excess supply of money in the system.
Anete, you have no choice.
All right.
You don't have a choice. So what can you do? If you are the central bank governor, what will you do yourself?
Well, I'll go by the law. Kwesi?
Listen.
Yes. So we're on the BOG and...
Look, if you look at the rate of the city, for example, if you look at the general state of the Ghanaian economy, there's no way you can argue that the Bank of Ghana is doing well. It's not doing well. The management of the banking crisis, has not resolved the fundamental problems that confront banking in Ghana. And as we sit here, Randy, I'm sure you're aware, there's a certain expectation that we could experience some kind of a banking sector collapse, which would involve at least up to about 5 banks, you understand? So there's a huge problem with the Bank of Ghana. Now, when you come to the realization that in spite of what the Bank of Ghana is going through now, it is setting aside $250 million, for acquiring a new office, that's quite alarming. And the excuse is that the current building, the Bank of Ghana building, doesn't have structural integrity. Where is that coming from? Who wrote that report? You understand? So I'm completely dissatisfied with the performance of the Bank of Ghana. It hasn't done well. And look, we need to take measures to restore sanity, to the Bank of Ghana. The state of the economy is extremely, worrying. The Bank of Ghana has not been able to even do the basic things. I mean, it's printing money without reference to Parliament. It's printing money and pumping money into the economy, simply, apparently, at the behest of government. That's, today I'm using the word reckless too many times. But this is certainly reckless. You understand? Absolutely reckless. I also saw the Bank of Ghana's expenditure on vehicle maintenance and vehicle repair and so on. And I was quite alarmed. If you look at the amount of money which was expended, I'm told somebody who did the calculation says that you can buy 115 Land Cruisers, and that kind of money was used.
So they explain that, for example, if you look at fuel, the cost went up by over 50% over that period. So that is a factor. If you look at insurance premium, it is also a factor. And the fact that because they operate across the entirety of the country, and so their fleet is also quite huge. And so...
Master, forget it. Just forget it. Somebody needs to sit up at the Bank of Ghana. I'm not so sure that organizing pickets is the solution, But certainly we need some shake-up at the Bank of Ghana. And it's not just the Bank of Ghana. I'm utterly surprised that today we are sitting in this studio discussing the state of the economy, and Kenny Furata is still the finance minister. I can't explain it. Who can explain it? After the president's own promise that after the IMF deal he will go, he's still there. The minority wanted him out. The majority wanted him out. He's still sitting there. What is happening? Why? Are we running a banana republic or what? I don't understand.
Anyway, okay. So you have a lot of messages. On your birthday, we had a lot of messages. Today, a lot of messages. One from Mr. Paul Afoko, Chairman Paul Afoko.
Oh.
Yes. He says he's up north, so he couldn't come to. Yeah, he's up north on his farm.
Yeah, Chairman Afoko is my. You know, Chairman Afoko used to participate.
Alaji.
In Alaji and Alaji. He was a regular voice on Alaji and Alaji.
So he even sent us something on the Niger crisis. I agree largely with Kwesi, but I think he has held back on saying clearly that the military adventure that our leaders are talking about in Niger is simply a cover for France and NATO to do in Niger what they've done in other countries. Major NATO members have already pledged to back this. And I've seen one from Dr. David Percy, and I saw him at your birthday. Says in Niger, we have one more example of France's African neo-colonial model in deep crisis and breakdown. The US sees this and is working actively to insert itself and displace the French under the guise of fighting Islamic insurgency and terrorism, deliberately ignited with the overthrow of Gaddafi in Libya. Says, from my little perch, I foresee these military-led civil uprisings to rid countries of neo-colonial bondage, however disorganized, spreading through all Francophonie. And some leaders of ECOWAS, including President Kufuor, is always quick to put the interests of the U.S. well ahead of Ghana's own, are offering their services as the gendarme of neocolonialism to preserve French and American interests in Niger. So it's asking what these leaders have been smoking. So the people of West Africa must not allow this collective folly to persist. So that's Dr. Percy there. Now, Marco Joboafu, he wakes up, he's in a state, so he wakes up at 3 a.m. to watch us every day. And he says that generally central banks are formally accountable to the legislative or executive branch of government. The central bank must have clearly defined and prioritized objectives, sufficient authority to achieve these objectives, and autonomy to remain credible. At the same time, must be accountable for the authority delegated to it to ensure checks and balances in undertaking financial reforms. It is important that we maintain and protect the aspects of central banking that proved to be strengths during the crisis, and that will remain essential to the future stability and prosperity of the global economy. Chief among these aspects has been the ability of central banks to make monetary policy decisions based on what is good for the economy in the longer run, independent of short-term political considerations. Central bankers must be fully accountable to the public for their decisions, but both theory and experience strongly support the proposition that insulating monetary policy from short-term political pressures helps foster desirable macroeconomic outcomes and financial stability. So that's his view. There's one also from Uncle in Takrady, because I'll forward that to you. Has sent that he's also a man of Macha Bruce also says a happy birthday to you. Yeah, Macha Bruce the second. Now doctor.
Dr. Manche Bruce.
Of Takrady Technical University.
Yes. He's also sent you one that I'm sure that. Okay. So this is Uncle from Takrady. He says, I'm an elderly man whose age cannot be easily and so casually guessed. I call Kwesi Uncle in quote for great respect and admiration. I've followed Kwesi for a very long time. In fact, I think from even when he was in public service. I think that whilst many did not really understand him nor appreciate his positions, he always stood for the truth, integrity, and credibility. I think it's for these that he is being sincerely celebrated today. My simple advice to many younger generations of journalists is that if they wish to make the impact Uncle Kwesi has made, then they ought to move away from needless biases, deception, hypocrisy, and sheer sycophancy. So that's from Uncle in Takrady. And Dr. Clement Apak says that Uncle Kwesi, on the occasion of your 70th, we celebrate you. You are a mentor to many, including me. Your contribution to the socio-political history of Ghana is self-evident. Your place in Ghana's history is cast in stone. God bless and guide you. Keep being you. Massa, we love you.
You must organize the party again, so those who didn't get the opportunity.
We'll get it.
You can come and get for us.
So, Massa at 70 reloaded.
I didn't organize this one, Randy.
Yes.
I didn't organize this one. So.
All right. So thanks, Kwesi, and Nikwate for joining me.
And then they find time and come and visit him. Kwesi,
how come?
Yes,
find time and pay.
Where is Valco? Where's the office?
Only Valco.
Where's the office?
I've been in the area.
It's the same place.
The same place.
Okay, the same place. You know what I remember?
Shitolo. By the time we go,
Shitolo. You know what I remember of Valco? Back in the days.
The Valco bread?
Yeah, when you're on the motorway.
Yeah,
the lunch package.
Yes.
The people selling those packages.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. All right. So
thank you
so much. You're nodding your head. You weren't born then. Okay. Up next, GMG Trends.
Betway is your gateway to a theme park full of gaming excitement. A whirlpool of wonder where your favorite games come to life. Where you can take to the skies with max payouts that reach into the millions. All in the palm of your hand. Visit betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. Betway is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. No under 18. Bet responsibly. Betway. Bet your way.
To help meet your business and private printing needs successfully, we have just the right products and services. At Appointed Time Printing Limited, we specialize in digital printing, offset printing, packaging and security printing. Our innovative designs and complete professional touch on our print products such as posters, flyers, brochures, magazines, whole cards and any other print solution of your choice ensure that our customers are always happily connected to their audience. With our security printing section, our clients are assured of a highly secured and confidential work process from start to finish. At Appointed Time, our prices are very competitive. Locate us at the old GNTC building near Swansea Shopping Arcade, Accra. Contact us on 0501 454165, 0501 454167. Appointed Time Printing Limited. Our printing is the solution.
My son, there's more blessing in giving than receiving. When you fear for you and couple the makers in
The pneumatological abrasion of the Lord revealeth unto me this night that me and my household should go out into the world and bless the world.
Makers Electronics Company Limited. Up to 67% discount. Our selected appliances.
This is what I call quintessential immaculatability.
The Makers Electronics Company Limited. Taifa Burkina Highway. Amasama Zongo Junction. Edike Pharmacy Dining. Oyer Fateman Boga Junction. Ashaman Valco Flat. Kumasi. Ahinema Kokobin. Asafubuachi Hospital Junction.
Saturday. Number 9 market.
Tell mom and dad about the Makers Blessing Attack program.
From 0552 222 253 and 0552 222 254.
Terms and conditions apply.
The same got to moon. I'm a sissy.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. Time to check out what is trending on social media. But before we get into that, the Makers Electronics Company Limited has good news for you. They have up to 67% discount on selected electronic appliances from brands such as Samsung, LG Move, NASCO, TCL, Media, and Toshiba. And these are quality but affordable electronic appliances with 2 years manufacturer defect warranty. So visit the showrooms of the Makers Electronics Company Limited at the Taifa Burkina Highway, Amasaman Zongo Junction, Oraifa Tema Boga Junction, Kaswa New Market, Ashaman Valco Flat, Kumasi Ainima Kokobin, Takrade Efie Kuma number 9 Market. You can reach the Makers Electronics Company Limited on 055 2222253 or 055 2222254. The Makers Electronics Company Limited, large and in charge with quality but affordable home appliances and consumer electronics. Terms and conditions do apply. And are you ready to get way more back with Betway in the new season? Use the golden booking code that you can find on the Betway site and place your risk-free bet from 25th to 27th of August. Guaranteed to give you 100% back as a free bet up to 50 cedis if you lose. This is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana and it's not for persons under the age of 18. Terms and conditions apply. Betway, bet your way. Let's see.
Paparani.
What's going on?
Good. If you have your team playing good football, you be in high, hopes. Looking at how Chelsea outplayed your favorite Liverpool. High hopes.
And they won.
Oh, and we drew because the initial thing was that you thought you were going to win. All Liverpool fans thought they would win us easily like that, but that didn't happen.
So you got 1.5 points.
Oh, we got 1 point.
Okay.
And we are signing good players.
Oh, okay.
And we win the league.
Do you remember the number of players you signed last season?
Oh, Doc, they are all gone.
Do you remember?
I remember, but they are all gone.
You signed everybody.
but they are all gone.
It's like the story I told you when we were in secondary school. A guy who said he had bought the whole of Duval and he and the girl were still friends.
Doc, it's never here, Charlie.
So you knew that before you started?
No, you by next year.
Next what?
May. Anyway, welcome
as
to
for the
Women's
Fellowship, by their headgear, we know them. So there's no problem.
Okay. There's a stray bullet.
By their headgear, you shall know the Women's Fellowship members.
Anyway, Doc, investors are not happy.
Investors?
Yes.
In Ghana's economy?
Well, in a way, it's into the economy. But
is it in oil and gas?
No, that's why they go to my pockets first.
Investors?
Yes. Bet investors.
Ah.
They are not happy at all.
The 10%?
Oh, Doc. Menu, no? Menu. Let's read some of the comments on Twitter. And then we'll get in here. So this one says that this Ronaldo man gonna be the worst. For the first time, I genuinely feel bad for guys who win massive cash outs because I'm just watching their wins and I'm like, so 10% of this money belongs to this government? People are winning. So 10% of that is a lot. So I said, hey, Ronaldo go make money than us, so he has nothing to lose. Hey, if we lose, he doesn't care if we win 10%. What Karen Father does this, we've organized, then do shaggy. Okay. Unemployment rate is high under this reckless Ronaldo and Baumia-led government, and you still want to take 10% from our try your luck at the Take Survive. Oh, that's Paku writing that on Twitter. And this one says that, see, that free water Ronaldo gave us during lockdown is the biggest fraud activity that has ever gone down in the history of the Fourth Republic. I think you go remember some things for the back there. Blaming Ronaldo for betting tax. Well, opposition had it come already. Same car, different number plate. And so, Doc, that's it. A lot of tweets this morning. Ronaldo is straight. This one says that, okay, so the last one says that Ronaldo should extend it to 120%. Still, I will stick. We'll find a way to get something out of it. That's from Lukman.
Okay.
Doc, Charlie.
So, I guess the only thing that is yet to be taxed are arms.
Oh.
The ones that the beggars on the streets call it. That's the only one left.
Because gifts, then they tax.
The arms.
The arms way.
It left that one.
Someone says, one I can't see it on TV. Say, very so beautiful ladies will be taxed. For me, beautiful. Anyway, well, it was on that though. People are trying to, NPP and NDC trending. So people are asking, are we ever going to have an alternative? Is there going to be like a third party thing from the NPP and the NDC? And so let's look at some of the comments with regards to that. This one says, guys, as Ghanaian youth who are trying to arise, so we are to boycott NPP and NDC because they are all the same. Who are we to vote for? What are we doing? Aside the complaints, is there an escape? That's a very important question from Ifwa of Fabia on Twitter. And Kwame Oliver says, makes 40 bet to do NPP and NDC odds in 2024 for the presidential candidates. Make them not stake and win and leave us alone because the 10% there, they hear we passed. Okay, this one says, I pray both NPP and NDC stay in opposition for a very long time. I don't understand this one. So, the who will be in government? Okay. Anyway, both NPP and NDC are in support of 10%. If not Anka, we go hear them dragging matters for parliament. They don't even waste time on that matter self because it will benefit the NDC when they come into power. Those peeps are just public stunts. And this one says that NPP and NDC are Ghana's major diseases. It's funny how they still want to use lies to win power, from Rexford on Twitter. So I think people are trying to find out an alternative for NPP and NDC, but
they should continue finding.
Oh, you say that?
But the alternatives.
We have a very good friend, and we have
never had an election in Ghana where there's been only two presidential candidates or two parties on the ballot.
Well,
So the issue about the alternative, I don't get it. There's always been alternatives on the ballot paper. So it is not as if we have a two-party state.
Yeah.
On every single ballot paper in this Fourth Republic, there have been more than 2 presidential candidates.
Yeah.
On the ballot paper for parliamentary, there's been more than 2 candidates in many constituencies.
Yeah.
So it is the people deciding that we want to go here or want to go there. Yes. So nobody should create the impression that
it's just NPP and NDC.
Yes. There have always been options on the ballot paper.
Yeah. So look at the options and choose the one that you like. On that note, look, I feel
I never knew now.
I feel never. So, Homo on Metro TV this week into next week, we are coming to you everything with regards to the Homo celebrations. We are bringing that to you right here. And
I'm told that Saturday.
Yes.
You know they're going to do the cooking of the quickly.
Yes. Quickly.
Is that Bridget Totu is cooking quickly?
Look.
Yes.
This is exclusive.
Yes. I was told. I was told by Nadlai that she's cooking quickly. So my first question was, but she's not.
She's not Ghana.
How can she say? Then I was reminded that the big man.
What's himself?
He said, Dr. Vegan.
So. Yes, so they learn from small.
That's where they take chocolate.
Okay. So please, we had the TFS exclusive on behalf of Bright. So there you have it on your screen. So we're bringing to you a lot of amazing stuff. So let me just go through that. From Friday, Morning Rush will be live from town with myself and Anaya and the rest of the team. And of course, we'll celebrate the twins and we'll get to do that. And then throughout the day, there'll be some updates on Metro Sports. We also have the street soccer competition where all the sports guys from Ignite Media will be there, from Michael Kofi-Odro, Gattuso to Baby, Abigail Sena Susu, Phil John Cote. They'll all be bringing us some exclusives from there. And also, there'll be a special edition of Entertainment Review on Friday from town. So do watch out for that particular one. And of course, from 3 p.m. there'll be lots of crossovers, bring you what's happening in town, where we're going to all the rounds right here on Metro Television. So please, Homo on Metro TV. It's going to be an awesome one. This will be like my very first time getting involved in Homo. So like, I'm excited about it. I'm still learning the Ghana, but yeah, we go do them whichever way. Look, I hear there's something they give on Sunday. Only what don't the graphic. I've forgotten. Like it's like a gift thing.
It's called I've forgotten.
No, there's a gift that is given on Sundays during the Omo celebration. Look.
I'll go and find it. I can't tell us.
They tell you, I forget. I remember. I'll come back tomorrow. All right, so that's it for the trends today. My name is Desifade in the Star. We'll be back tomorrow with all the happenings on social media. And yeah, Homo on Metro TV. This week, next week, we've got you covered. Yep. Look.
All right. So that'll be it.
Yes, sir.
I'll see you.
Yeah. See you tomorrow.
Yes.
And I do more work.
If
Bridges to cook the quick player.
Yes.
Look, what will do?
I will chop him. I will chop the quickly.
That's all.
All right, so that'll be it. Up next, Metro Sports.